Morocco, about racism in the whole of Europe, in the world, in fact. So it's not been easy. He's an exceptionally talented player. So the combination of both realities makes some explosions in his character and in, many ups and downs along the season. But I think that he's absolutely right. In fact, when Hansi Flick said that he is only 18, well, I didn't remember that he was only 18. So it kind of surprised me that Hansi Flick reminded us that this guy is just a kid.
Thank you very much, Ernest.
Thank you. Take care.
Ernest Macia there, Spanish football journalist. Let's go back inside the Parc des Princes. So we've got Ian Dennis there with Paul Robinson, Charlie Adams here, Stephen Warnock, and Julien Laurent has joined us. Hey, Jules.
Hello, Steve. Hello, everyone.
Oh, yeah.
There's just something about your voice, Jules, when PSG are playing in the Champions League.
I'm very excited. I am really. I'm going to be stressed very soon now after I leave you guys and I go to my other seat because that's just the nature of being a fan too. But it should be a very exciting game, I think.
Do you think PSG are as stressed about facing Liverpool as they might have been 12 months ago?
It's a different dynamic for sure than even 12 months ago where they had clicked already. Remember that City game in January? We were here, it was pouring down with rain. They were 2-0 down after 54 minutes and they turned it around and won 4-2, and that was really the beginning of then what obviously led them all the way. This time it's a bit different. They've clicked later on in the season because of for many reasons, including the lack of pre-season that they had because of the Club World Cup in the summer. But it feels like now they're back quite close to the form that we saw last season. So I don't think they would care if they're favourite or not. If people say that it's going to be easy or it should be easy, because they know it's not going to be. It's far too simplistic to say that. But they're certainly super confident in their own game, which was not maybe the case 2 months ago.
Julian, Charlie here. Just a quick one. Getting rid of the superstars, do you think it's made a huge difference to the way PSG are now, in terms of each individual now? Dembele, really flourishing, Doué flourishing, people like that becoming, different types of players.
Yeah, completely. You're right. The shift really in the style of the team and what the club did in terms of recruitment as well is obviously massive and is the key, I think, of everything, including Luis Enrique in this, because it was his choice, for example, to get rid of Neymar. It was his choice to get rid of Verratti. Messi left, but Luis Enrique would not have kept Messi, not in that project. He wanted younger player, hungrier player, who would do everything he said. And that's the thing. There was something really important this season. They lost at Rennes in the league 3-1 in December, I think it was, or late January. And after the game, Dembele was really unhappy, and he said, we have to again, like last season, put the team before the individuals. And he was right. At that time, the team was still playing a bit like before, like in the old days, for 11 players instead of a whole team on the pitch. And Luis Enrique didn't really like Dembele saying what he should have been saying himself, and he's the star in this team. But the idea was there, and that's exactly what Luis Enrique has been doing since he arrived at the club. Made this team a proper team, not just the sum of 11 individuals.
Jules, are you worried that Liverpool might, if Arne Slot goes, come and try and get Luis Enrique?
Whether it's Liverpool or Manchester United or whoever else, his contract is until 2027. Right now they're talking to extend it until 2030 and make him one of the highest managers in the world, highest managers paid in the world, sorry. So I don't know, at some point he will leave. He's not the type to stay for too long either, but he knows that he's got a good project here. He also knows, maybe more importantly for him in his eyes, that he's the biggest star at this football club right now, which might not be the case if he goes to an English club, for example.
Feels like a yes, that, doesn't it?
It does.
He's panicking.
I've watched Jules sweat in that match in the day room when we've watched Paris Saint-Germain, whether it was last year, this year, and then last year I was at that game when Alisson was unbelievable, and I watched Jules squirming in his chair. He was so uncomfortable.
So much.
Jules, every time PSG play, I want to talk to you about Khvicha Kvaratskhelia, who we're just looking at a big close-up of now inside the stadium. I just think he is one of the most enjoyable players to watch in world football.
Yeah, he is, and we always say that big games belong to big players and all of that, which is a bit of a cliche, and sometimes he's right, sometimes he's not right. It's one of those, right? But with him, it looks like he picks his games, and I'm not saying that in a negative way or pejorative way at all. It's just I think he's a guy who loves those big nights, who love this more than, again, you know, a mid-table Ligue 1 team on a Saturday night. Even if the stadium is still full here, it's not the same. And I think he's got something in those big games, big nights, to shine, really. We saw that against Chelsea in the previous round. He was not happy to be on the bench in the first leg, came on and just changed the game. Second leg, he was starting because he had to start after what happened the week before, and it was just incredible. His efficiency, his work rate, the technical ability under pressure to beat the press, to go and press himself is remarkable, really. And again, I think we spoke about it after he signed a year ago, a bit more than a year ago from Napoli, and we said how come no English clubs really, of the top English clubs, were in for him at the time. Was ridiculous.
Paul, on Mamardashvili here, I'm just interested to ask, you think about whoever the absolute best player or players were you played at club level, and that is a long list. Would it have helped you at international level if you're their teammate when it comes to facing them in a game like this? Like, could Mamardashvili look at Kvaratskhelia and think, you know what, I understand what he's doing, I've seen that body shape 50 times before, I know where this shot might be going?
Yeah, but he still puts it in places you can't get to. That's the problem.
He doesn't have
He's
it doing that, doesn't he?
No, he's that good. I mean, he's one of my favourite players, Steve.
Yeah.
As I said to you before, as soon as I learned to pronounce his name properly, he became my favourite player. He's a joy to watch, he really is. He's just got such an attacking threat. Every time he gets the ball, his first thought is forwards. But Mamardashvili, obviously, you will know him from the international scene, but it gives you no real advantage as a goalkeeper. I mean, you can train against players, you know, play in the same team, and then come up against them as opposition. If they're that good, they can make you look silly wherever they are.
Jules, I just wanted to ask you about Paris Saint-Germain, and I'm looking at Safonov in goal. Is he the problem or the weak link within their team? Because obviously Chevalier, it's not worked out for him. The opening game, I was at that game against Spurs in the Super Cup. It was almost like that was his confidence completely shot, and he felt like he was almost like an imposter at the football club replacing Donnarumma. Is that their weak link at the moment?
Yeah, I think there's a couple. One is set pieces, where Liverpool have been really good since they sacked the previous set piece coaches, and they've been very good since the turn of the year. And PSG have been vulnerable on set pieces for many years now, so that is something that I think Liverpool can exploit. And then you're right, Safonov on a good day, like we saw Chelsea second leg, for example, can be very solid. On a bad day, like we saw on Friday night here against Toulouse, not so good at all. So I don't know, it's not Donnarumma, that's for sure. He's got other qualities. Donnarumma left because he had to leave. They could not agree terms on a new deal, and he didn't want to sign under the PSG term that they were offering, and they were not going to budge. Chevalier arrived. He was a good, very good, young, promising French goalkeeper that just struggled to make that step up from a club like Lille, really good club in Ligue 1, to the top like PSG. So you're right, Safonov tonight, there's a lot that will rest on him as well, especially if Liverpool can get even to the PSG box and put them under pressure like that.
Jules, thank you very much. Great to have you on as always.
Thank you, guys.
Top man, Julien Laurent inside the stadium, and Jules will pop up as well at full time, and we'll have a chat to him after the game. Stephen, most guests of Champions League Match of the Day, they kind of go like at the latest quarter to, but you as a man who's run 4 marathons, have said you can make it across there now.
I'm not in that fit state.
You did run here though, which
yeah,
almost
because I
cost
thought
you.
I was late. And it was that was tough. I was running up the stairs as well. They're quite long.
Quite steep, aren't they?
Yeah, they're quite a lot of steps.
Especially
there.
when you go the other side of 40. It really hits home.
All right, thanks, mate.
Have a good one, Stephen.
Will do.
Wait till you're in that marathon running and you find out really what it's all about.
No, exactly. Good luck if you decide to do it, Steve.
Yeah, thank you. Stephen Warnock will be on Champions League Match of the Day later. BBC 1, 10:40. Let's hear from Florian Wirtz next, then, playing in his first Champions League quarter-final as Liverpool look to find something special out of a turbulent year. Here he is with Ian Dennis.
We wanted to have a better season until now. We had some goals this season. Of course, the team won the Premier League last season, and this was for sure the aim for this season as well. Yeah, but I think we are still in the Champions League now, so there's still something to play for. Also, the qualification for the Champions League next season. So we still have some goals we want to achieve. We wanted it to be better, but there's still something to play for. Of course, this is not our standards that we lose 4-0 against City. We wanted to come through this round. Next year we should go better and be better on the pitch.
Arne Slot said after the weekend that the players will react. What gives you confidence, belief or faith that you will react, or can you react for this tough test?
I think we've shown this season already that we are good in big games, and especially in Champions League games. I think the last round against Galatasaray was not easy because they have also a good team. We believe in ourselves. We have a good group together with good characters and great players. Also good manager who tries to prepare us good for the game. So we believe in ourselves. We know we have the second game at home. That is maybe an advantage. So we try to do our best, believe in ourselves, and come first of all with a good result to Anfield. We are believing in the manager. The team should believe in the manager because they won the league last season. We had a lot of good games this season. Everything I can say to that is that we believe in the manager and try to get our best on the pitch.
Florian Wirtz speaking to Ian. Charlie, out of all the stars, and we've just gone through, we could have talked more about Marquinhos or Hakimi or Vitinha or Neves or anybody basically in the PSG team and a lot of the Liverpool players. But Wirtz is the most expensive. He is the £100 million plus player on the pitch. How do we rate his season so far? Has he had the level of impact or even close to it that we expected?
Moments.
Right.
Impact, I think he's had moments and he's shown why he's that price tag. Had a phenomenal season at Bayer Leverkusen. But again, we underestimate players coming from different countries to come into play in the Premier League.
22.
I understand playing for Bayer Leverkusen, big club in Germany. But coming to Liverpool with a price tag, it's a totally different animal. And like you say, he's still a young kid with vast experience. And to come and be that main guy for Liverpool, to make things happen, it's been difficult. He'll be a better player next year for it. It's the same as Isak. I think off the back of Isak, he's obviously had his injury problems, never had a pre-season. I think, if any of the signings you'd have to say, I think Ekitike is the one that's covered himself with a little bit of glory in terms of his performance, how he's done. But the team, let's say, you'll get judged on your price tag. It's been a big price tag for Florian Wirtz. He's had moments and he's shown us glimpses of what he's capable of. And again, that's not helped with people that have been in the club longer, not being able to perform to the level they have as well. So it makes it harder for these players coming into the building. If the mainstay within the team are not performing, I think Gravenberch has shown quality. I think Szoboszlai and Ekitike have probably been the two standouts all season, and that's not enough for Liverpool Football Club.
He is such a good individual player, though, Paul, that even in the context of being 22 and adapting to a new nation, on this stage, a game of this size, it's entirely possible that he could just make the stage his own. He's that good, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the individual qualities that he's got, and that's the price tag that he comes with. He's taken a while to settle, but actually when you pay that amount of money for a player, you know that there's quality there. There's undoubted quality, and his ability in these big games is where he could potentially shine. Steve, it's unfolding in front of me now. There's an incredible light show, pyrotechnics to tifos at either end in this stadium. The atmosphere here, it's going to be incredible tonight. It really is. And as you say, Florian Wirtz could set it alight.
Well, they've just been playing the Avengers theme, Ian, and I think I can see the Incredible Hulk on a tifo there, is that?
Yeah, it's well, at both ends you've got a Hulk-themed tifo, and also away towards our left, where the Hulk is sort of like split one in half. He's ripping away the Liverpool crest in half. Half of him is in red, the other half is in blue. It says Hulk KS Envu, which I'm reliably informed says, ce soir, réveille Hulk KS Envu. Tonight, awaken the Hulk within you. No sign of David Banner.
Bruce Banner, do you mean?
Bruce Banner.
Who's David Banner?
It's his brother.
Is he in the court
Young
to me?
cousin.
That looks special, that, Paul, doesn't it?
It's incredible. They never let you down when you come here for the pre-game, the show. They've had drones lifting up pieces of material that the team's been projected onto. the flying bat cam is going across the top of the stadium now, tifos at each end. The atmosphere here, honestly, if it's one of those, it's definitely a bucket list place to come to. If you like touring your football grounds, it's special here.
Right, Charlie's going to be back with us at half-time. Charlie Adam, who's with us all night on 5 Live Sport. We were going to keep you right up to date with Barcelona, Atletico Madrid. That one kicks off at 8 o'clock. Come half-time, we'll talk Women's Six Nations. We're going to hear from Tyson Fury, who sat down today with Steve Bunt. But our main focus, our main event, is the Parc des Princes. It's the quarter-finals of the Champions League. The first leg, Paris Saint-Germain and Liverpool, with Paul Robinson and Ian Dennis.
Well, what a noise here inside the Parc des Princes for this quarter-final first leg tie in the French capital. A deafening noise that greets the two sides as they walk out for a defining night for Liverpool Football Club, and in particular their under-fire manager Arne Slot, where we expect him to actually start with a back three. Mamardashvili will be in goal. The back three of Gomez, Van Dijk and Konate, Kerkez and Frimpong are the wing-backs, Gravenberch, McAllister and Szoboszlai, and then Wirtz and Ekitike. So that's two changes from the side that collapsed against Manchester City on Saturday in that FA Cup quarter-final. As for Paris Saint-Germain, they've made the one change that beat Chelsea in the previous round, and that is Doué for the injured Barcola. Safanov is in goal, Hakimi, Marquinhos, Pacho and Mendes the back four, Zaire Emery, João Neves, Vitinha in the midfield, and then the front three of Doué, Dembele and Kvaratskhelia. But what a task this is for Liverpool.
It's a huge task for them tonight, especially after the way that they were dismantled at Manchester City. And you could see the attitude of the players, the captain's question, their attitude, the application. And you know as a player, when you have that type of body language and that performance, there's problems there in the dressing room. There will be meetings that have been had, there will have been words that have been said behind closed doors from the manager, but also between the players. And I think the big thing for Liverpool tonight, there's a lot of personal and professional pride at stake. They can't afford to crumble like they did against Manchester City. Not here, because they will get well beaten again if they do.
What do you make of the fact that it's going with a back three?
I think he's looking for answers, in all honesty. I don't know. I've got my notes in front of me, but I can't remember the last time he actually played a back three. With this, we're not certain it is yet. We're waiting to see them line up. But when the teams came out, it does look like Joe Gomez will play on the left with Van Dijk in the middle and Konate on the right. Frimpong and Kerkez on the left side, sorry. But I do think that's a little bit of a... He said, didn't he? He said that we're going to start on the front foot, we're going to go toe-to-toe. Actually, looking at that, that's worrying. He's worrying about their wide players. You look at Kvaratskhelia and Doué, he's putting Kerkez and Frimpong in the wing-back positions to counter-effect what they've got.
I saw a stat from on social media from James Pearce of The Athletic, was saying that the last time that Liverpool started either a Premier League or a Champions League game with a back three was December 2017, Brighton away. Liverpool are in all red, and Paris Saint-Germain in their traditional colours, the predominantly all navy with that little bit of the red going through the middle. And the fear amongst the Liverpool supporters is that this could be done in the 90 minutes tonight to make next week's second leg irrelevant. Liverpool have to try and stay in the tie.
Well, you look at what PSG have done, you only have to look as far back as the Chelsea game the other week. You look at the goals that they put past Chelsea, an incredible goal record that they've got. And I think here at home they're very, very dangerous. And that will be in Luis Enrique's thinking. We know it's over 2 legs, but actually if they do go one up early, it will be a case of, right, let's try and get this done tonight. And they've got a history of doing that. They're a free-flowing scoring team. You look at the plethora of attacking quality that they've got. They're a dangerous team to play against, especially when you're in a fragile shape like Liverpool.
Well, the Paris Saint-Germain players are just forming a huddle inside the centre circle. And the Liverpool supporters over on that far side, as the Liverpool players are also having their huddle, unaware that we're actually having a minute's applause here at the Parc des Princes, in memory of the legendary Romanian coach Mircea Lucescu. He passed away yesterday. At the age of 80, and UEFA remembering Mircea Lucescu, live on BBC Radio 5 Live. The referee tonight is Jose Maria Sanchez of Spain. He's just checking with his two goalkeepers that they're happy. Liverpool are going to kick off. They're playing from left to right as we look. The ultras away towards our left-hand side, one half behind the goal, behind that little bit of a track. Half of them are all in red, the other half are all in navy blue. And Liverpool have lined up as if it was a rugby union match, because they are lopsided over on that left-hand side. McAllister knocks the ball back to Canate, and then 5 Liverpool players race forward over on that left, and that's where the ball is launched to. And Joe Gomez is actually playing as the left-sided of the 3 at the back, but Van Dijk centrally and Canate to the right.
Yeah, immediately you could see Liverpool's intention there was to go long, and actually when we watched them in the warm-up, you know, they go through their normal drills. Van Dijk and Canate were practicing longer balls, so I wouldn't be surprised actually if that is a tactic for Liverpool tonight, to go more direct, looking for the likes of Ekitike and get support in and around him. But you're absolutely correct, they're playing with a back 3, and Joe Gomez is on the left of that back 3.
The ball has gone behind, and it will be picked up by Matvei Safonov, the Russian international goalkeeper, who's in no real hurry to take this goal kick. And Liverpool were pressed to try and poised to press quite high up, but Safonov has now sent everybody downfield to take those red shirts away from his penalty area. And in fact, he even ushers Hakimi over on that far side, the right, to go downfield, and then he kicks it long, and then Canate will come forward, but he's actually beaten in the air by Zaire Emery, and comes off the Liverpool player, and it will be a Paris Saint-Germain throw.
It's brave from Liverpool, but at the same time it's very, very dangerous. They're leaving themselves very exposed, pressing that high. They committed everybody forward to the high press. If the goalkeeper had got the ball past it, they'd taken 7 or 8 Liverpool players out. Gomez, Van Dijk and Canate, they were all 1v1 at the back. There was 3-on-3 at the back if PSG could have worked it through the lines. It's a good ploy, it's a high press, but it's a dangerous tactic.
Listening to Arne Slot yesterday, someone asked him the question, what gives you the confidence that these players will show a reaction? And he said, the 35 minutes against Manchester City, but tonight's all about the 90. They have been inconsistent throughout this season, but tonight they need to put in a performance over the full 90 minutes. You're listening to BBC Radio 5 Live. We're available on the BBC Sounds app. We're also live on the red button, the iPlayer and the BBC Sport website, and we also have Radio Merseyside with us too, as Dembele lets it run through, and McAllister running back inside his penalty area will clear just before João Neves could get there, but Dembele picks it up for Paris Saint-Germain 30 yards out from goal. 0-0 in the early stages here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Mendes at left back out towards Kvaratskhelia. Without moving the ball, he's dancing around it, moving his shoulder to the left, then to the right. Frimpong wasn't buying any of it. He was watchful, and in the end Paris Saint-Germain go back into the centre circle, and the central defender Pacho passes it to Dembele, who now links up with Hakimi. The ball is clipped out to this near side. Frimpong, the right wing back, was tucked in, heads it away, but Paris Saint-Germain get the ball back once again. And now here is Vitinha, who hits the ball out to his right, and then Marquinhos forward to Dembele. And as Dembele drops into that middle area of the field, Doué is the one who then tries to occupy one of the central defenders, almost trying to lull and draw Liverpool out.
Well, they're almost a back 5, aren't they? We know we talk about them a 3, and they're saying that the full-backs are going to push on, but as soon as they lose possession, Kerkez and Frimpong, both of them tuck in alongside the 3 central defenders, and they're very much a deep-lying defensive back line, which we haven't seen from Liverpool.
Here is João Neves, little touch. Pacho hurriedly has to pass the ball to Vitinha, who's almost filling in as the left back. He runs away from Florian Wirtz, his first Champions League quarter-final of his career. And then the ball goes back to Marquinhos, and at that point Liverpool don't go chasing, as Vitinha will pass the ball forward to Doué. But he was talking last night about Arne Slot. This is one of the, yeah, they are the Champions League defending champions, but he says they're so difficult to play against. One of the best with the ball.
They are, without a shadow of a doubt. The rotation, I mean, the game's already taken up a pattern. This is a very, very comfortable at the moment for PSG, rotating the ball around, keeping comfortable possession. For Liverpool, it's all in front of them at the moment, but there's a certain pattern that is already starting in the game, and Liverpool are very, very deep in that back 5.
Here is João Neves approaching the halfway line inside his own half. Now moves into the centre circle. Back heels the ball to Vitinha. When they played last season in the last 16, Liverpool averaged 38.6% ball possession in those two legs against Paris Saint-Germain. It was 4 shots for and 18 against. Their biggest negative shot differential in Champions League on the record as the ball goes round the back. And this now is an opportunity for Paris Saint-Germain with Zaire Emery. Back then towards Vitinha. Midway through the Liverpool half, Kvaratskhelia has drifted now out towards the right-hand side. 5 minutes played, 0-0.
This is going to be a long night for Liverpool if they continue to play like that. It's a long, hard night when you're running around chasing after the ball. And quite often when a manager plays a back five, he's protecting weaknesses, and that looks exactly like what Arne Slot's done. He's worried about the wide players that PSG have got, and he knows how fragile his team are. And he's playing a back five, which is very, very much a five. We see teams play a 3 when the 2 wing-backs push on and become very offensive. But actually, they look nervous. They look actually anxious. As soon as they lose possession, they all retract into this defensive position, which they've obviously worked on since the Manchester City game on the training ground. Had very little time, but it's a big change in tack from Arne Slot.
Well, I'm of a certain age where if you were to be beaten away from home in the first leg by a 0-0, in the old days that used to be classed as a good result.
It's not bad, is it? Yeah, I mean, it was always, well, it still is, it's always better to go away from home first, get a result and come home. But at the moment, I think any type of result, the way that Liverpool have been performing, they would take today.
Of course, last season they were absolutely battered. Alisson actually said it was the performance of his career. He faced 27 shots, he made 9 saves. He was in absolutely sensational form, and yet Liverpool with a complete smash and grab, won by a 0-0, a late goal from Harvey Elliott. But João Gomez just typifies this Liverpool attitude to try and limit Paris Saint-Germain. He's being booed and whistled and jeered. He has sauntered across to take this throw. He's in no real hurry. He's now picked up a towel. The whistles are intensifying. Kvaratskhelia is having a word with the Spanish referee, and in comes the throw from Gomez in towards the near post, headed away from the actual penalty area by Van Dijk, and then Kerkez, the left back, will go all the way back towards Mamardashvili in yellow away towards our left hand side. 7 minutes played, 5 live, 0-0. Ekitike with a lift flick on towards Florian Wirtz, and he will chase towards Pacho, but he passes the ball to Mendes. Early ball forward now, and this is Zaire Emery to Kvaratskhelia. Frimpong though stands in front of him. The Georgian international passes the ball in field. Dembele running back. Now they try and quickly increase the tempo to Paris Saint-Germain. 7 minutes played. Dembele once again scoops the ball forward. Running out onto that far side is Hakimi. He'll keep the ball in play. Down by the byline. Back towards Dembele. This is Doué. Just went away from a fraction, and Szoboszlai was able to clear, but Liverpool don't break ranks. They're defending deep, and they're defending well in numbers.
They've set up here as a team that are inferior. It looks like they're in an inferior team, the way that they've set up. They look like they've come here, I mean, they're the reigning Premier League champions, but they've come here as though they're inferior to PSG in the way that they've set up so defensively. And they've tried to do the set plays, they've tried to break the game up. It's been slow, it's been methodical.
Here is Van Dijk. Szoboszlai collects it, then gives it away towards Vitinha. Zaire Emery, very tight passing patterns there from Paris Saint-Germain, and Kerkez was going to clear it, and then he just let the ball go out for a goal kick.
Yeah, good defensive play there from Kerkez. Lets the ball go in and around his back. Back five again. Liverpool in no hurry to take this goal kick whatsoever. It's very, very structured. It's very structured, and it's very organised, what we're seeing.
Update from the other quarter-final, Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, Mike Maine.
8 minutes played, 0-0. 3 shots on target in the opening 5 minutes, though. Marcus Rashford twice for Barcelona, both times cutting in from the left, striking low. Little curl found the goalkeeper at the other end. Great run on the right from Alvarez, danced his way into the box, but his shot too lacked power to beat Joan Garcia. It is Barcelona 0, Atletico Madrid 0.
The winners will play either Sporting or Arsenal in the semi. The first leg will actually be in Spain on the 29th of April, and then they'll be at home. Arsenal will hope that is the case for Tuesday the 5th of May, and you'll see highlights of that game from last night that we brought you with commentary here on 5 Live with John Murray at 10:40 on BBC One tonight. And tomorrow we will have more European football for you in the Europa League. Bologna against Aston Villa live on 5 Live. Paris Saint-Germain coming forward. This is Dembele. There's a man over with Doué on the right-hand side. He still might find Doué. Indeed he has, and Doué with a shot. Good block coming in from Szoboszlai. Rebounds towards Hakimi. Hakimi 25 yards out from goal. Here is Mendes. Mendes, short little ball forward. Zaire Emery. Had Dembele actually picked out the initial run, first time of Doué, then that could have created greater problems.
If he was as accurate as you just swatting that fly, you might have got him, mightn't he? That troubled you a little bit, that, didn't it?
It did. And I'm not too sure I've actually got it away from me enough. It's still lurking somewhere on my notes. On what has been a glorious day in the French capital. It must have been about 25 degrees today. Blue sky, not a cloud anywhere to be seen. And the Liverpool supporters who travelled in good number over on that far side, I'm sure will be hoping for an equally pleasant evening as Vitinha. 0-0, 10 minutes played, and there hasn't been a chance so far in these opening 10 minutes.
Luis Enrique, you can see him there every time the ball goes out to play. He's on at the referee already, tapping his watch.
Here is Doué, inside to Vitinha. Vitinha to Dembele. Man over is Hakimi. Dembele, though, runs into traffic, manages to get away from it. In fact, it was Gravenberch on the ground who got a foot into the challenge. This is Doué who turns, shot takes a deflection and goes over Mamardashvili. And Paris Saint-Germain with the opening goal. It comes after 11 minutes. Mamardashvili was completely deceived by Doué. The defending champions are ahead 1-0.
It's a fortunate finish from a Paris Saint-Germain point of view. But you can see with the possession that they've had, the pressure was mounting on Liverpool. It's a wicked deflection. It takes it up and over Mamardashvili in the goal. You could question the goalkeeper's positioning. He's a big goalkeeper as well. Shouldn't get up and over him from that type of distance. But he takes his opportunity, Doué. He gets inside the 18-yard box, opens himself up, and he takes the strike. He takes a wicked, wicked deflection up and over the Liverpool goalkeeper. From when we're sat up here, it didn't look like his position was too bad. But Doué was the initial one that started the move. Good piece of play from PSG. And just listen to the noise now inside this stadium.
Yeah, it was just outside the area. Checked back inside. In fact, it was just inside the box. But Mamardashvili, come off Van Dijk. Yeah.
It's a very unfortunate deflection, isn't it? It comes up and off Van Dijk's back. It looks like Van Dijk's turned his back, gone to block the ball. It's gone up and over him. It's almost impossible to chip the goalkeeper of that size from there, but somehow it's found the gap between the goalkeeper's hand and the crossbar, and PSG are in front.
11 minutes played and Paris Saint-Germain have the lead. And there has been a fragility about Liverpool this season when they have conceded first in 18 games in all competition. They have lost 14 of those 18 matches. They've won 2 and they've drawn 2. They conceded at home to Newcastle, they won 4-1. They conceded away to Eintracht Frankfurt and they won 5-1. But the first real effort in the game, and Paris Saint-Germain are ahead, and they've had over 86% possession. And I think they've dominated.
When you look at Liverpool and their recent performances, the games that they have lost and the ones that they've won, the 2 sparse wins in there at home against Galatasaray and away at Wolves in the FA Cup are the 2 most recent wins that they've had. The home win against Galatasaray, I think it may be papered over a few cracks. I don't think it was overly stated how poor Galatasaray were that night. Liverpool weren't good, were they? It was more Galatasaray were poor.
Well, Szoboszlai has pulled out some stunning free kicks from his repertoire this season. He doesn't go for goal on this occasion. He chips it towards Van Dijk. Van Dijk heads it inside the penalty area, headed away by Pacho, headed back by Kerkez, and then volleyed away by Kvaratskhelia. Paris Saint-Germain lead by a goal to 0. 13 minutes played. BBC Radio 5 live. The BBC Sounds app, and also live on Radio Merseyside. Zaire Emery with the interception, runs forward. Frimpong goes back with him. Zaire Emery keeps hold of the ball, gets away from 3 Liverpool players. But in the end, it required Florian Wirtz there to come back. But you can hear what the Parisian support feels about tonight. They are playing with real desire, and there is a real fervour here in France inside this stadium too.
They have real quality, that's why. You look all over the pitch. I mean, the wing-backs are the 2 most attacking players on the pitch at times. Hakimi and Mendes, they will overlap. Doué and Kvaratskhelia. They've just got attacking prowess all over the pitch.
Pacho hooks the ball clear midway through his own half. Frimpong takes it on the chest midway through the Liverpool half, closed down by Dembele, back towards Mamardashvili, and he hits it first time left-footed. Ekitike playing against his old side, manages to nudge it back towards Wirtz. Back it goes to Ekitike. The Spanish referee, though, has spotted an infringement and will give a free kick to Paris Saint-Germain.
Very little opportunities, Ekitike, so far in the game. Wirtz is the one that's charged to get up in and around the Liverpool front man. Szoboszlai is trying his best, but actually not really managed to get any type of fluidity into their play as yet. Liverpool, they've been on the back foot, concentrating on a defensive shape rather than going forward.
Well, they have a habit of scoring at home. Even Arne Slot was aware of it. He mentioned it in his press conference yesterday. They have now failed to score just once in 30 of their last home matches. Indeed, since Liverpool's last visit 13 months ago. Liverpool, though, now need to make sure that they don't capitulate as they did against Manchester City at the weekend in that FA Cup quarter-final.
I think the league has helped PSG out as well. We know the other leagues in and around Europe, they help their teams out that are in the Champions League. They should have played Lens, who are second in Ligue 1 in between these two games, but that game's been postponed till the 13th of May. And you look how the governing bodies look after the teams that are in the Champions League. Had 17 players away on international duty, but because of the postponement, he's going to have time to prepare for the two games.
Yeah, definite advantage. Liverpool, of course, have the visit of Fulham, 5:30 Saturday. You'll hear that on BBC Radio 5 Live. Mamardashvili goes long, picks out Ekitike, lays the ball off to his right for Florian Wirtz, who rides the challenge out towards Frimpong. Frimpong's cross doesn't beat the first man, strikes the back of Mendes and the Portuguese left-back, then gives it back to Liverpool. Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, Frimpong, right-hand side, clips over the cross, over the head of Ekitike. McAllister will retrieve it for Liverpool. 25 yards out from goal. Gomez passes the ball to the right corner of the box now for Wirtz. Wirtz links up with Frimpong. The return ball, though, from Frimpong just allowed Kvaratskhelia to get something in that and puts it out of play for a throw. Paris Saint-Germain 1-0 up.
Do you know, that was a really good opportunity for Liverpool. Frimpong got himself in an excellent position down this right-hand side. All he had to do was lift it onto the head of Ekitike, who was completely unmarked, 7 yards from goal. And it was just a lack of care from Frimpong with his final delivery that cost Liverpool.
One clean sheet for Liverpool now in their last 9 games in all competitions. As the ball cleared on the half volley by Pacho. A couple of rebounds in there off a number of players. And then Hakimi's put under pressure from Kerkez, the left wing back. Helped out now by Ekitike, who the ball at his feet runs out to that far side. Just dinks the ball back to Gomez, but Gomez, it was an awkward one for him to control. Couldn't keep the ball in play. 17 minutes in on that far side. Paris Saint-Germain have a lead of a goal to nil.
He's almost a left-back, Joe Gomez. They play a back four when they're in possession. Joe Gomez plays as a left-back. Frimpong drops in on the right-hand side and makes a back four, and it's Kerkez the one that's allowed the freedom to go higher up the pitch. But in turn, Frimpong does the same on this side. So it's a kind of hybrid role for both of the wing-backs. They're going between a 4 and a 5. Difficult system to play, especially when you haven't played it.
They can ill afford another 20-minute period where they conceded those 4 goals against Manchester City. Got to just dig deep a little bit as Paris Saint-Germain are awarded a free kick. What about the other game? Barcelona, Atletico. Mike Mane.
It is 18 minutes played, 0-0, but Marcus Rashford has had the ball in the back of the net, tapping in from a low cross from Lamine Yamal, but it's the man who got the assist that went early with the run, and offside was the correct call. Rashford by far Barcelona's brightest player, making runs, creating and having chances of his own. Barcelona 0, Atletico Madrid 0.
Nearly 48,000 people are packed into the Parc des Princes, located in the southwest of the French capital. This atmospheric bowl-like stadium where they're singing from one end to the other, the French supporters. A lapse in concentration, meanwhile, from Mendes has given Liverpool a throw-in on this near side to right. They're playing from left to right as we look, level with the penalty area, and again Gomez in no hurry to take it.
It's amazing, isn't it, watching Liverpool play like this, so slow and so methodical, using the set plays as a planned routine. Virgil van Dijk's gone up again, stood right in front of the goalkeeper. Joe Gomez comes down to this near touch line, employs the towel, takes it off the ball boy. In fact, he's wiped the ball but taken a new ball off the ball boy. And this is going to go long again, but it's Luis Enrique down beneath us. He's absolutely fuming with the time Liverpool take.
Gomez with a long throw, held towards the near post. Safanov was under pressure from Van Dijk. Liverpool get a corner kick. That was an awkward one for the keeper.
Difficult one. Van Dijk's presence made it very difficult for the goalkeeper. Always hard as a goalkeeper. Strikers and central defenders who are in and around you, they don't normally necessarily have to jump into you. One of the hardest things is if they stand where you want to jump and they're just in the way. It's exactly what Van Dijk did then.
They're trying to kill the game, they're trying to kill the tempo. Florian Wirtz said to Gravenberch, just take it, don't just wait for the minute. Wirtz is there as the short option. Gravenberch now uses the German, and he'll pass the ball as he strokes it towards Szoboszlai. Clips it in first time. That was a promising cross. Safanov, well, he came out for it. He was bold. He went with a leading right arm, and they got away with that, did Paris Saint-Germain. And now, there was a potential break on, but Hakimi has pushed the ball out of play for a throw. What a wicked ball that was in from Szoboszlai.
It's a super set play, isn't it? We wax lyrical about teams and set plays, but again, set plays are nothing without delivery, and that delivery from Szoboszlai was absolutely on point. Kerkez almost gets a free header. The goalkeeper, Superman-like, comes out, punches it off his head.
Had to get there as well. I think Kerkez was one of the 3 Liverpool players who were trying to get on the end of it, as Wirtz. No, free kick against Liverpool in favour of Kvaratskhelia from this Spanish referee. And I've seen him before. He's strict, he's a no-nonsense official, very, very firm. But boy, does he like a card. 24 games this season, 102 yellow cards and 8 reds.
102 in 24 games?
102, yeah.
Wow.
Ball goes out to this near side for Mendes. Midway through the Liverpool half. And the champions, the Champions League are ahead. The French champions against the English champions.
Look very different though, don't they? I mean,
they do.
Quality-wise, you look at the players that PSG have got and the way that they're approaching the game.
Dembele finds Zaire Emery. Out to Kvaratskhelia, comes onto the ball now, left-hand side, enters the box, onto his right boot, thought he was going to shoot, then he does get the shot away, takes a deflection, and on this occasion it was offside anyway. It was Neves that had strayed into an offside position, and then I think Mamardashvili with the release had been impeded, and he's going to be giving the opportunity to take that one again.
He's a wonderful player, Kvaratskhelia. We spoke about him before the game, but what he does on this left-hand side, he comes inside, but he comes inside with purpose. He looks to take his man on, get past, and then his first thought is to get the shot off. Gets another one away there, gets a deflection into the arms of Mamardashvili this time.
I remember watching him for the first time live in Naples. Thought it was a chastening night for Liverpool when Jurgen Klopp was the manager, September 2022. Kvaratskhelia was part of a Napoli side that dismantled Liverpool by 4-1. They also could afford to miss a penalty that night in Naples. Liverpool are already behind here in this Champions League quarter-final first leg, live on BBC Radio 5 Live, as Mendes, the left-back, will win a throw off the shins of Frimpong. And not only at the weekend will we bring you Liverpool against Fulham at 5:30, we've got the Grand National at 4 o'clock. Steve Crossman coming live from Aintree Racecourse, and there's a real Merseyside theme to our coverage on Saturday as we follow the fortunes of Everton at Brentford for our 3 o'clock commentary. The usual goal service, but that'll be uninterrupted on Sports Extra because of the racing at Aintree. But he'll get the odd signpost or two on Saturday itself. But this is Champions League here on 5 Live, and Paris Saint-Germain are attacking with Hakimi, far side the right, Doué, the goal scorer. The interception though from Szoboszlai. Ekitike had his legs taken away from him. Ekitike, who 33 appearances and 4 goals for Paris Saint-Germain in 22-23. We'll be hoping that he can get one on his return as the ball goes long to Szoboszlai. He was the one making that advance run. Ekitike, with his dyed hair, plays it back towards McAllister on the halfway line, and then Gomez plays the ball infield to Ekitike, who tries to link up with Gravenberch. Actually got to the return ball himself off the legs of Marquinhos, who'd gone with him. And then McAllister is adjudged to have been fouled by Zaire Emery, and Van Dijk wants to take the free quickly. That was just a attack. Well, he does take it quickly, actually. Threads it through to Gravenberch. Wasn't expecting that as Gravenberch runs forward and almost squirmed the ball into the path of Ekitike. But Paris Saint-Germain now have it. Paul Robinson.
It's almost that they're playing off the cuff a lot of the time, Liverpool, when they are in this defensive shape, but when they get the ball, they don't seem to have a plan going forward. Ekitike has been very, very isolated at times. We'll see Szoboszlai now on this right-hand side, Ekitike on the left, and Florian Wirtz is actually the one down the centre. They're very fluid, they're interchanging, but actually the structure when they do go forward, there's no real substance to it.
Here is Vitinha running forward. Diminutive Portuguese international out towards Mendes, the left back to Kvaratskhelia. who now gives it to Dembele again, coming onto the ball from deep. He's 30 yards out. Kvaratskhelia was the one who'd made that run in between Konate and Van Dijk, but that was stopped by the Liverpool defence. João Neves 10 yards forward of the centre circle. Marquinhos goes out wide to Dembele. Hakimi, the right back, is the one who's just made the run off for there. Now he lays it back towards Dembele. Still there's a player out wide on the right for Paris Saint-Germain. They have such a fluent system. As Szoboszlai wins the ball in the midfield. Ekitike tried to get it out towards Frimpong. Interception from Mendes, who decides to dart forward. Now they're in behind with that space vacated by Frimpong, and Van Dijk is the player who has to cover. But Hakimi pops up on the left and he wins it back for Paris Saint-Germain. And Liverpool are getting smothered here by the French champions.
Yeah, they can't get the ball back. The ball retention, keeping the ball, passing possession in the final third. When they do try and look to get in behind that Liverpool defence, Liverpool think they've won the ball back, but they can't keep the ball. PSG win it back very, very quickly and start yet another attack.
Zaire Emery inside the Liverpool half and waiting for the ball to reach him at his feet before he will trundle forward is Kvaratskhelia with the socks rolled down, the number 7 of that navy shirt, the little wristband on his left wrist. Vitinha, who's had a good scoring record against the English sides this season. Remember, he had that lone spell at Wolves. He got a hat-trick against Tottenham. He popped up with a goal against Newcastle and Chelsea. Did the 26-year-old midfielder for his appearances at Wolves, 22 appearances when he was on loan in 2021, as Mendes is the player who's down, and that's why there's a stoppage in play. And Arne Slot will use this stoppage to get some instructions across to Gravenberch, to Konate and to Frimpong. In fact, a lot of the Liverpool players now are wandering over on this very, very mild, almost a humid evening, in fact, inside the Parc des Princes to get some liquid refreshment on board too.
Yeah, they're in no rush, the Liverpool players, ambling over towards the manager. He's speaking to the players individually rather than as a group. It's Frimpong and it was Gravenberch that got the instructions from Arne Slot. I think he'd be reasonably happy with the way that his team have responded after going a goal down, but still they haven't had any attacking threat themselves. I mean, it's possession-wise and territorial-wise, PSG are by far in the ascendancy. But Liverpool, to their credit, they've stayed in this game without offering much in the final third going forward.
Well, the only thing is that since that goal from Doué, that wicked deflection off Van Dijk, beat Mamardashvili, they haven't really created too many other opportunities, but as Paul was just saying, they have dominated. Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, Mike Maine.
It is 0-0. It's settled down a little bit this game. There's a little concern for an injury to the Atletico defender, David Hanko, at the minute. He's receiving treatment inside his own penalty area. So very quickly, what did you say about your referee? Ian, Romanian Istvan Kovac is our official tonight. 25 games, 111 yellow cards, as well as 6 reds. 0-0.
Wow. The no-nonsense approach then extends beyond Spain to Romania.
Well, you can guarantee that there'll be no bookings in either game tonight.
Yeah. Szoboszlai, forward ball. Gravenberch keeps his balance well. Looks for another ball towards Wirtz, and it's cleared by Paris Saint-Germain's defence. Sliding back was Gomez. But in doing so, in fact, there is the yellow card. He's absolutely taken out Doué. And Joe Gomez has just been shown yellow. And that is what we call the curse of the commentator.
Didn't need to make that challenge, really, did he? I mean, he was going nowhere. The PSG defender had decent possession on the edge of his own box, facing his own goal, not really looking to threaten forwards. It was a vicious tackle from Joe Gomez coming in side on. Took the ball, but took the player as well. Decent build-up play again from Liverpool. They're trying, but it's a little bit clunky from them. There's no fluidity.
No, and not a great deal of threat going forward. Incidentally, this is the 61st knockout match in the Champions League for Paris Saint-Germain, and they are yet to feature in a goalless draw. Liverpool, though, on the bench for the first time since he broke his left leg at Tottenham, do have Alexander Isak available to them. And in fact, he is warming up with Ngumoa and Chiesa away towards our left-hand side as we sit here on this balmy night in Paris in our short-sleeve shirts, and Paris Saint-Germain looking to build on their 1-0 lead that they currently have against Liverpool. But Szoboszlai working hard in the midfield. Konate to Gravenberch. He was deep inside the centre circle. Now to Gomez. Gomez looks for the ball, floated forward towards Szoboszlai, who heads it back to Wirtz. Wirtz slips, headed forward by Gravenberch. The little flick then cleared by Hakimi. And now it's with Van Dijk to come forward. And back with Gomez, and McAllister will see it back towards Mamardashvili. Paul Robinson.
He's getting through a lot of work, Ekitike, but a lot of work without any real fruition at the end of it. I mean, he's ended up on the left wing that side. He's playing as the striker down the middle, and Wirtz is the one that has to get in and around him. But he's having absolutely no service. He's working extremely hard. He's trying to make runs and he's trying to make things happen, but the ball just isn't arriving to him.
And Luis Enrique, the Paris Saint-Germain coach, applauding with his hands above his head for the pressing from Paris Saint-Germain. Luis Enrique, not that I'm wanting to make you feel old, you played against him 26 years ago in that 1-1 draw against Barcelona at Ellen Road.
Leeds Barcelona. Oh, that was a long time ago.
That was, I tell you, you talk about Alisson's heroics that night here against Paris Saint-Germain a year ago, or just over a year ago. You, my friend, were in excellent form as Frimpong is forward here with a cut back to the edge of the area. Cool defending by Zaire Emery. Just let it come away from Szoboszlai, didn't panic, and then was able to get the ball forward towards Doué. And Doué now runs out towards that right touchline, and then he's caught by McAllister. That's going to be another yellow card.
He's got so much pace, hasn't he, Doué? I mean, PSG turned defence into attack so quickly. Then the pace that they've got on the right-hand side, Doué, he's got away from McAllister. McAllister knows it. He's lunged in from a distance, taking him out on the touchline. It's a crude challenge, but I don't think, in all honesty, he had any options because he was away, Doué. Liverpool didn't have the options back, and it was a challenge that McAllister had to make in that area of the pitch, or else they were bang in trouble.
Yeah, he was late. McAllister, with his cropped hair, is the second Liverpool player to be booked in the space of 3 minutes. Incidentally, he's not one of the players who would miss the return leg at Anfield next week. Virgil van Dijk and Gravenberch, of those that are starting, have certainly got to be careful. Arne Slot's in the ear of the fourth official, Juan Martinez Munuera. I don't think you can have any complaints about that.
No, it was a really poor challenge. You can't have any complaints about either of the bookings.
No.
Both of them were yellows, definitely.
14 minutes to go to half-time. Paris Saint-Germain lead by a goal to nil. Vitinha with a free kick goes short, then gets it back. Vitinha, infield now to Hakimi, just under 30 yards out from goal, quite a central position. This is Doué, right-hand side of the penalty area. The ball wouldn't go with him. He almost, though, still managed to wriggle his way in towards the penalty area. Wirtz has given it away. Kvaratskhelia, great one-handed save by Mamardashvili.
Brilliant
Not too
save.
sure whether it was actually on target, but he wasn't to know that. It was a strong right wrist, wasn't it, to claw it away.
Really good, strong hand. I mean, Kvaratskhelia, the ball bounced up to him and he just hit it first time, took everybody by surprise. But the big Georgian goalkeeper went down to his right very quickly, and it was a big paw. I think that was fine in the bottom right-hand corner. That's a good save from Mamardashvili.
Just instinctive, wasn't it, by Kvaratskhelia?
Oh, he's such a good player. It was just an instinctive hit, wasn't it? As soon as the ball popped up, he had one thought in his mind, and that was it. It was gone.
But Mamardashvili was away towards his right-hand side. That was an excellent description, a paw.
Big paw, wasn't it? A big paw, a big claw that he padded it out with. Really good, strong hand, because he got it out of the dangerous area as well.
13 minutes to go to the break. Paris Saint-Germain continue to dominate. Liverpool, though, have restricted them to few opportunities, which will satisfy Arne Slot when you consider that they faced that onslaught here last season when Liverpool won by a goal to nil. Ball goes back to Safanov. Blonde-haired goalkeeper with his little ponytail, didn't get much elevation along the ground, but he managed to pick out a navy shirt. And now it is with Kvaratskhelia running forward, coming in off that right touchline, and now is left of the centre circle. He's held onto the ball, much to the disappointment of Luis Enrique, who turns away in frustration. Now it's with João Neves. Neves will trundle his way forward and is able to pick out Hakimi. Dembele has stayed out wide, far side to right. Hakimi runs out towards him, gets the return ball, level with the penalty area. Dembele now towards Vitinha. Liverpool have everybody behind the ball.
You can see the way that they're set up. They've come here tonight for damage limitation and to make sure that they're still in this tie in the second leg. They've gone one goal down and their game plan hasn't changed. They've still stayed very similar, very same in that defensive rigid shape. The five at the back, the wing-backs tucking in, and as soon as they lose it, they all get back and retract into that shape. Even at 1-0 down, they're not going to change because they want to stay in this tie until they take them back to Anfield.
I've just seen a replay of that Kvaratskhelia shot, and what made it even better is that it took a deflection off the backside of McAllister
It's a brilliant save, it really is, and as you say, the added deflection made it even harder for the goalkeeper. Those of smaller frame may not have made that save.
No, but I think that would have gone in, you know.
Oh, he's going in, definitely going in the bottom right-hand corner. Yeah, it was a wonderful save, it really was, and as you say, with the deflection, makes it even better.
Yeah. Paris Saint-Germain have a slender lead, 1-0. We can hear Liverpool supporters over on that far side in the background, trying to make their presence felt, as Szoboszlai almost caught the blind side of Pacho with his back pass to Safanov, but he saw it back to the Russian keeper, and Kvaratskhelia was being held by Konate, and that will be a free kick to Paris Saint-Germain just inside their half with 10 minutes to go to the break, and they lead by 1-0. We'll go back to Mike Mano watching Barcelona Atletico Madrid.
0-0, Barcelona corner. Best chance since you were last with us was a most perfect drifting ball from Dani Olmo. Crossfield into the penalty area. Rashford tried to guide it with the outside of his right boot, but softly, too softly, towards the goalkeeper. Here comes that. Barcelona knows what referee stopped it for the Barcelona corner. That referee, by the way, has given us our first yellow card of the night as well. Koke into the book for a bad challenge. Barcelona 0, Atletico Madrid 0, 10 to half-time.
That was predictable then from both match officials, as the multitude of flags are flying in the ultras end away towards our left-hand side. We have under 10 minutes to go to the break. Radio Merseyside taking our coverage here on BBC Radio 5 Live tonight. And Paris Saint-Germain still have that lead from Doué's goal after 11 minutes. Liverpool have a free kick, which is just inside their half. Szoboszlai is going to take it almost on the halfway line, Paul.
Yeah, it's another opportunity that Liverpool are using to put the central defenders forward. I mean, this is a set play. This is not something that we see normally from a Liverpool playbook, but this is literally on the halfway line. Szoboszlai is going to launch this into the PSG box. Van Dijk's up there, Konate's up there, all the big players are there, and it's going in the box.
Szoboszlai launches the ball into the penalty area. Safanov has come a long way, and he gathers it in with both hands. As it turns out that the person who mocked me for that large fly
Mine was
is
bigger.
quite jumpy as well. You almost jumped as high as Safanov did.
That was, yes, I mean, it's still there as well, the horrible little creature. Look, there it is. What will you do with that? I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to kill it with your stopwatch.
Here is Vitinha inside the centre circle, and now with João Neves, plays the ball forward. Two of them have made the run, Mendes and Doué. Liverpool look weak at the back now. Here is Doué, good save by Mamardashvili. Quickly off his goal line, saved it with his legs. Paris Saint-Germain had a real opportunity there to get a second goal. Here is Doué with a cut back to Dembele, gets a second chance to pull it back. Zaire Emery, Vitinha dispossessed by Florian Wirtz. Liverpool were carved open there.
That's a great save again from Mamardashvili. That was a completely different save. That time he has to be completely aware of the through ball. He rushes off his line and he's on top of Doué before he can even lift his head up. Good quick play from PSG again. He just couldn't quite get it from under his feet, Doué, but it was a real opportunity. Great save again from Mamardashvili.
Hakimi keeps the ball alive for Paris Saint-Germain out towards the floating Kvaratskhelia. He's in the left, he's central, he's on the right, and he's just trying to find space wherever he can at the minute. And he's demanding of the ball, but Vitinha goes through the middle, and then Hakimi, who is inverted, tried the little flick. Kirkes, poor clearance, straight towards Kvaratskhelia, enters the penalty area and hammers the ball into the side netting. They're just looking to try and turn the screw as we approach half-time, and Paris Saint-Germain still lead only by 1-0.
Don't think that was the best option there for Kvaratskhelia. He gets the wrong side of Kirkes, he gets on the outside of him. It's a very tight angle. I think he had better options across him into the 18-yard box, the 6-yard box. He had his strike partners in and around him, but he chose to strike and he lashed it at the near post, hit the side netting. Just getting a chance to see that save again. It was a really good save from Mamardashvili. Closed Doué down extremely quickly before he looked up, the Frenchman. The goalkeeper was on top of him. Really big, strong piece of goalkeeping. Good depth perception.
Good what, sorry?
Depth perception.
Explain that from a goalkeeping point of view.
Well, like water, how deep water is, and where the through ball comes through, your depth in relation to the ball, where you have to be.
Okay. Merci beaucoup. Here is Gravenberch.
Did you get your fly?
Here is Van Dijk to Ekitike. I think there's more than one. Ball floated over the top by Gomez. Ekitike gives chase, takes Marquinhos with him, far side the left. Running back now over on that far flank. Helped out by Gomez. McAllister collects the ball from Wirtz. Along the ground now to Frimpong. Rare attack for Liverpool. Frimpong now to Konate. Here is Wirtz outside the area. Scoops the ball too. Oh. Frimpong. Flag's gone up anyway. He was offside as he hammered it right-footed across the face of goal, out for a goal kick. But that was by far Liverpool's best passage of play.
They've had 3 really good opportunities, Liverpool, in this half. They've been few and far between, but the 3 times that they have got in and in behind, it's been Frimpong on this right-hand side. The earlier 2, he chose to go across the goal and try and find his teammates. That time it bounced up and he looked for the far post. Wouldn't have counted, he was offside, but he's been the most lively for me, Liverpool, Frimpong.
Here is Doué from the side that beat Chelsea in the last round. That's the only change that Paris Saint-Germain have made. He's got an ankle injury at the minute as Barcola, and they're not even sure that he'll be fit for the return leg at Anfield, which incidentally will be live on BBC Radio 5 Live next Tuesday. And then we'll have the return leg of Arsenal against Sporting on the Wednesday. But 5 minutes to go to the break. Arne Slot would take this scoreline if they can get through without conceding again, just to have a word with his players as Konate comes a long way forward and wins the ball midway through the Paris Saint-Germain half. And then Wirtz can't deliver the cross first time or indeed the second time. Blocked on both occasions by Pacho.
That's better from Liverpool. Konate trying to set the tone, trying to press higher up the field. He gets right up close in behind Wirtz there and he wins the ball back. Gives the ball into Wirtz, who in turn tries to get the cross in, goes out for a throw-in. But Liverpool are slowly growing into this game. Yes, they've been out-battled with possession, with territorial advantage, etc. But as you say, they're still in this game and the chances are starting to appear for them.
Paris Saint-Germain still leading by a goal to 0. At half-time, incidentally, we will be hearing from Tyson Fury in conversation with Steve Bunce, which I'm sure will be as fascinating and as interesting as ever with Bunce. You'll hear that then during the break.
Bunce is great, isn't he? You could listen to him forever. He's just one of those type of people, isn't he? He's just an addictive listen.
Well, 4 minutes to the half-time interval as Pacho to Safanov. Chips it high, chested forward by Neves, lifted then by Mendes, and they're attacking swiftly down the left-hand side. Kvaratskhelia infield here to Doué, and this is Dembele, and Dembele's effort left-footed was weak. He was the man over. It was inadvertently passed to him by Konate, and he couldn't generate the power off his left foot, and in the end it was straight at Mamardashvili. Can't help but feel that's another let-off for Liverpool.
Had everything, that, didn't it, from PSG? That was up there for goal of the season. All it lacked was the finish. And it was a great, swift piece of attacking play. Within 3-4 direct passes, they're inside the Liverpool 18-yard box with a chance at goal.
Coming forward now with Neves. Dembele's onto the ball, coming in off that right touchline with a cross, headed away by Van Dijk. Kerkez tidies up to McAllister. His forward ball to Ekitike. Kerkez has gone into a central area. The 2 Hungarians, as Szoboszlai gets a touch. They work it out towards this near side, the right. And Frimpong now slows down in front of Mendes, back towards Szoboszlai on the halfway line. That's a ball towards Gravenberch, who was trying to break through. Pacho, though, would read it, and Pacho drops inside his penalty area, still followed by Gravenberch. Gets a foot into the challenge, but he's absolutely shattered. Paris Saint-Germain get a throw deep inside their own half, leading 1-0.
Yeah, that's a run that we haven't seen because they've been in this defensive shape. Gravenberch hasn't been allowed to make those runs, but actually now Liverpool are opening up ever so slightly, and that's the third-man run deep from midfield, found well into his path, in behind the PSG defence, and that's when they've looked at their best.
The efforts from Doué and Dembele in that 7-minute period where you felt they could have possibly done better are opportunities that they haven't taken, and normally they are ruthless. As here is Vitinha to chug his way forward, and to Doué. Good footwork, manages to get it back from Vitinha down the left line to Kvaratskhelia. Mendes, Pacho, they go back and then across, and Marquinhos will run forward on that right side of that central defensive pairing for Paris Saint-Germain. Zaire Emery, Dembele, always coming onto the ball to run at pace at the Liverpool defence.
He's funny down there, Enrique. He just stands there and applauds his team. He must enjoy watching his team. You know, when they play like this, they are a good watch. And they're so well coached and well organised. The way that they move the ball, there's always a player that's available off the ball.
Here is Neves, Vitinha, Pacho. There he is, still applauding, patrolling in that rectangular technical area down below here in the Parc des Princes with 60 seconds to go of normal time. And Paris Saint-Germain still lead from that Doué goal after 11 minutes. Here is Dembélé. The highest scorers in this season's Champions League with their 35th goal of the campaign. Dembélé goes behind Hakimi, but Dembélé gets it back. And Dembélé trying to thread it through, waits, pulls it back to Neves, time to control the ball and shoot, and he's dragged it wide. He was unmarked, left of the D, and right-footed, he's pulled it off target for a goal kick. Paris Saint-Germain still lead by 1-0, but a goal in the Nou Camp. Mike Maine.
Barcelona 0, Atletico Madrid 1. A stunning 20-yard top right-hand corner free kick from Julian Alvarez. Gets his 9th Champions League goal in the colours of Atletico. It comes after Barcelona were reduced to 10 men. Kubasi sent off after a VAR review, bringing down Simeone outside the box, and from that free kick, Alvarez scores. It is Barcelona 0, Atletico Madrid 1.
So Atletico Madrid are ahead against Barcelona, and Paris Saint-Germain continue to lead Liverpool here in Paris by 1-0. As Pacho clears, we're into the additional 60 seconds of stoppage time on BBC Radio 5 Live. As Gomez drills the ball out towards Frimpong, but it zips away off the lush green surface and kicks on and out for a throw. And even Frimpong, with all of his pace, was never going to keep that ball in play.
No, two very different messages on the way from the two managers. Being in dressing rooms like this, one manager will be okay, we're one down, but I don't mind the shape that we've got. We've stayed in the game. Just keep doing what we're doing, and the opportunities might come from a set play. The other dressing room, in the Paris dressing room, it'll be we need to capitalise on the possession that we've got and the dominance that we have.
Marquinhos steps forward out of defence to Kvaratskhelia, then gave the ball away. And Van Dijk and the boy referees have blown his half-time whistle. And so, had it not been for Mamardashvili, who could do nothing about the deflected goal from Doué off Van Dijk after 11 minutes, he's made 3 important saves, most notably from his fellow Georgian, from Kvaratskhelia, as they have restricted Paris Saint-Germain's dominance to just the 1 goal. Paul Robinson.
Yep, that's one thing that Liverpool can take from the first half, that they're still in this game, that PSG are not out of sight. They've got Mamardashvili, the goalkeeper, to thank for that. Made 2 outstanding saves, 1 really good block when he came out in the one-on-one situation. But PSG have just got so much quality in the wide areas, and going forward, they always look a threat. But Liverpool, they have grown in the game. They've got a lot better joy down this right-hand side as they've progressed and tried to push the ball in behind PSG. But the thing for Liverpool, they're not taking too many risks. They're not really wanting to get out of this defensive shape at the risk of being exposed at the back. So what they're lacking going forward, they're trying to make up for in keeping it down to 1 in the second half. But actually, that's hampering them going forward. Nobody wants to be that one that breaks in behind.
So Doué's goal is the difference at the break, half-time in the Parc des Princes. It's Paris Saint-Germain 1, Liverpool 0.
I think Paul Robinson, poor from the goalkeeper, has to go straight into the commentator's view glossary, because it's the perfect word. It's the poor of Mamardashvili and his legs that have kept Liverpool in it.
Poor from the goalkeeper. Yeah, there's the dictionary. So yeah, possibly. But he's been brilliant, Mamardashvili, and I think that one, it wasn't so much a save, it was a block with his legs, but the way that he read the situation, he was quick off his line. That's what got him into the situation. So as soon as Doué looked up, the goalkeeper was on top of him. But the save down to his right, if you haven't seen it, go and have a look at that. It's a really good save. Comes off McAllister's backside and it flicks in and around the goalkeeper. He was already diving to his right. He had to extend himself and go even further. 2 super saves from the goalkeeper.
Champions League match of the day later, you'll be able to see that. Second half commentary to come from the Parc des Princes. PSG 1, Liverpool 0. Stunning free kick at the Camp Nou from Julian Alvarez, and we're now closing in on half-time, Mike Maine.
Yep, still Barcelona 0, Atletico Madrid 1. It is that Alvarez free kick from 20 yards, top right corner, that separates the two sides. Been a really good, lively game, this one, initially through the chances created and mostly through the brightness of Marcus Rashford, although his efforts a little tame. He did have the ball in the net early on, but Lamine Yamal, who teed him up with a low cross, was offside, making his run a little too early in the build-up. But all the dramas come at the end, not only that Alvarez free kick, but the reason that free kick was given was because Alvarez played a lovely ball to a goal side Gianluca Simeone, Diego Simeone's son, actually, clipped by Kabasi. Referee initially gave a yellow card, and then in the aftermath VAR review he went to the screen and showed a red card. So as it stands, with the half-time whistle going and Julian Alvarez getting a big hug off his goalkeeper Juan Musso, it is Atletico Madrid heading for their first win in the Camp Nou since February 2006. Barcelona 0, Atletico Madrid 1.
On the way then, we're going to hear from Tyson Fury, who's been speaking to Steve Bunce. We'll talk Women's Six Nations, and then we'll chat to Charlie Adam ahead of second half commentary from the Parc des Princes. All after the news on 5 Live with Fraser Denton.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thank you, Steve. Good evening. A Los Angeles woman dubbed the Ketamine Queen has been sentenced to 15 years in prison for selling the drugs that led to the death of Friends actor Matthew Perry. Jasveen Sangha, who's 42 and has dual British and American nationality, pleaded guilty last September. Donald Trump has insisted that Lebanon is not included in the ceasefire agreement between the US and Iran. Israel says it's continued striking Hezbollah targets in Lebanon. Officials in Beirut say more than 250 people have been killed. Mr. Trump called it a separate skirmish, but Iran says it views continued airstrikes from Israel on Lebanon as a violation of the ceasefire. Its Revolutionary Guard have warned they will retaliate if the attacks continue. Earlier, Sir Keir Starmer welcomed the ceasefire during a visit to an airbase in Saudi Arabia, but says there's a lot of work to be done to ensure that it holds and becomes permanent. Global oil prices fell and stock markets rose sharply following the news of the ceasefire deal, but analysts cautioned it's likely to be a couple of weeks before sustained reductions in oil prices filter through to the petrol pumps. The RSPCA says rescuers have found more than 250 poodle cross dogs living in a single home. The animal welfare charity said the numbers and the living conditions at an undisclosed location in the UK had rapidly grown out of control amid extenuating family circumstances. And Greece has become the latest country to announce a ban on social media for the under-15s. The ruling will come into force at the end of this year.
I'm Jamie Bartlett, and I'll be looking at how fakery took over the world and asking why no one seems bothered. No, hang on, sorry. You're not Jamie Bartlett. I'm Jamie Bartlett. Well, who am I then? Well, I'm afraid you're not real. You're Jimmy Bartlett, an imitation chatbot I've created to help me make this series on modern fakery, in which I'll be asking why it's no longer punished and often rewarded. Everything is fake and nobody cares. Listen now on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sports, the Champions League with Steve Crossman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Champions League quarter-final, first leg half-times. PSG 1, Liverpool 0, Barcelona 0, Atletico Madrid 1 and Barca down to 10. Second half commentary from the Parc des Princes is on the way. This weekend, Tyson Fury's back in a boxing ring for the first time in 15 months. Former heavyweight world champion is going to fight Arslan Makhmudov at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on Saturday evening. Fury had announced his retirement after he lost twice to Alexander Usyk. That was back in 2024. But he's been telling Steve Bunce he found his love for the sport again whilst he was on holiday.
14 weeks I was away in Thailand. It was absolutely fabulous.
Did you like that?
I loved
anonymity.
I loved it. It was 30-odd degrees every day. It was absolutely unbelievable. Training twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day. It's a great place to train, such zen and tranquility. But when you got to put the work in, you got to do it in an oven. The gym we use is up 10 stories high with a tin roof on it. So it can get up like 45 degrees in there, no air conditioning, just old school training. And yeah, it's brilliant.
And was part of that you pushing yourself to see if you still wanted it and had it? Let's be honest.
So here's the
was there part of that?
Here's the honest truth, Steve. I left the Isle of Man on about the 18th or 20th of December, and I was going away with my wife and kids for a holiday. I didn't have any intentions of coming back or a training camp or nothing like that. I just went to get away from the rain, get some sunshine, because I was feeling a little bit down. And when I got there, a good friend of mine, Sifu Kanchi McGuinness, he's got a gym over there, and I phoned him and said, look, can we use the gym while I'm here? He said, yeah, no problem, come down and use the gym. So I was using the gym for a couple of weeks over the Christmas and New Year period, and I felt good. And the vitamin A of the sun, and everything just was amazing. And I thought, you know what? My bones are feeling all right over here in this sunshine. I can do this again. And I spoke to Sifu, and he said, yeah, you can train, and I'll tell you if you've got it. Straight old man, he's 75 years old. He don't pull any punches. So he went on the pads, he went on the bag, and he said, you've still got it.
And did you feel you still had it as well?
100%. I never, ever didn't feel I had it. Yeah. Never. I was just sick of the boxing game. Yeah. I've been in it so long, I needed that time away. And then one thing led to another. I ended up phoning up Spence and phoning up Turkey Al Sheikh and all that. And within 10 minutes, I had a fight and a date. Because, let's face it, when things like that happen, they bring me back for a reason. This is my 6th stadium fight back-to-back now. Wembley, Tottenham, Saudi, Tottenham. Who else has ever done that?
No one.
No one. Yeah?
Hundreds of thousands of people actually paying and going through the turnstile.
Exactly. So it's amazing. And it's not just good for boxing, it's good for the city. It's good for London. All the people coming here, spending money in restaurants, bars, pubs, hotels, everything. So it's great. It's great for the country. It's great for everybody. And that's one of the reasons I'm coming back as well.
You felt that you hadn't lost it. You felt it was there as you were coming. And other people are telling you that as well. But last weekend, I'm sure you watched Deontay Wilder against Derek Del Chisora. Two men that you know very, very well. You shared unbelievable
trilogy with each man.
What were your impressions from watching that fight? And did it worry you in any way?
Well, here's the thing. I'm glad you brought that up, because I was sitting there thinking, this is shocking. Then I said, maybe it's just me being biased and negative towards these two guys. And then I asked everybody else, and they said, no, you're not being negative. It was like that. And it was sad for me to watch that. I know how good they were. Yeah. And to see that on Saturday night, they looked like a couple of club fighters from a white-collar match somewhere you see in a local leisure centre. Now, if people want to say to those other boys that they were doing fantastic and they were, brilliant, heart-wise and guts, determination, commended. But what they were, they've finished.
And do you think you'd be able to spot that or sense that in yourself?
I feel as good as I've ever felt. When I was 25, 27, 22, I'm as sharp as I've ever been. And I mean that.
Can't let you go without asking you about Anthony Joshua. You know, we know what happened to Anthony in December. We know how he's dealt with it, and we know that you've reached out and you've said some things. Is that still a fight you think about, or have you just got the head on that if it happens, it happens, if it doesn't, it doesn't?
If it happens, great. If it doesn't happen, also great. I've got Arsenbeck to think of on Saturday night, but all going well, that's the fight I want next.
You're delighted to be back, aren't you?
Very much so. I've missed this game. I've been away 16 months. I've been a father, a husband, and a Netflix filming man, just a normal civilian. Now I'm back king of the world again. It's unbelievable.
Is it easier being the king of the world?
It's easier. It's easier being the GK, getting punched all about the head by giants, than it is doing all the stuff. I was on the plains of Africa, the lion running, after the kill, the gazelle, and know what it's like to chase. Then all of a sudden I've been locked up in Chester Zoo, in a cage. I'm like, I'm getting fed now with some food I don't even like, and I got people patting me on the head, and I'm the most vicious wild animal that there is in the jungle.
The #1 predator.
#1 apex predator, and now I'm someone's kitten as a home cat. Do you know what I mean? That's what I was.
So you're back on the plains
I was an apex predator, then I went to a domestic cat at home, and that's what it was. That's how I've been for the last 16 months.
Now you're chasing gazelles
And
again.
now, imagine someone stole me from the zoo, on a plane, back to the plains of Africa, and I'm gone again after them gazelles. That's how I feel.
I don't even know what to say. Other than that was Tyson Fury speaking to Steve Bunton. You'll get more on the 5 Live Boxing podcast, which is out now on BBC Sounds. The Women's Six Nations starts this weekend. Updates of England-Ireland will be on 5 Live Sport. On Saturday, there's a special Rugby Union weekly podcast out today. Sarah Orchard with the former Wales international Philippa Tuttiett, joined by the captains from Scotland, Ireland, Wales and England's new skipper, Meg Jones.
I think just leads with what I've always led with, and I've always just been a natural leader myself, like a lot of passion, pride. I don't think that needs to change. I try and be myself as much as I can. Probably doing some more PowerPoints than I usually do, delivering more stuff, but that's just the nature of the gig, I guess. So, yeah, I think I don't want to change anything. We've got an amazing leadership group. We've got Amy Cocaine coming into the ranks. Jess Breach is also in our leadership group as well, and they'll contribute massively to what this group is hopefully going to continue to deliver. And yeah, I'll lean in on them as much as I can, because everyone just looks out for each other, and I think that's the main point.
I mean, you know this girl is never going to change, because she rocks up to the Women's Six Nations launch for the first time as captain in her slippers.
Yeah, I am in my slippers. However, have you tried these on? You need the Ugg slippers. They hit a bit different. Yeah, they are pretty comfy, especially when you've been training all day as well. It's the best thing.
Can you tell me where this motivation is coming from for England? People don't know the record. 7 Six Nations in a row. You're now world champions. You're on a record test-winning run. What is it that you're playing for now?
The shirt. You play for the shirt. Like it's borrowed, isn't it? You don't. Nothing's guaranteed. Nothing's promised. And everyone each year, regardless, will say it's because I want to be on that starting team or I want to be in that 23. So that's what we're playing for. Is competition. We have such a unique superpower, which I think is one, depth, but also the desire to want to be better every time. And yeah, just even we were in camp this week and just seeing all the new faces in, and you know, they just slotted in like they'd been there for years. And I think that was nice to see, because you never want those coming in to be like, oh, scared or probably a bit passive of what they're doing, but they got stuck right in. And I think that hopefully shows the power in our culture and what we're trying to deliver. But yeah, I think it's just a natural competitive desire that we all have.
England captain Meg Jones there talking to Sarah Orchard and Philippa Tuttier. You can hear more from them on the Rugby Union Weekly podcast. You can download it right now on the BBC Sounds app. Elsewhere, England fullback George Furbank is going to join Harlequins from Northampton Saints at the end of the season. Leicester have lost their appeal against a 6-point deduction for breaching EFL profit and sustainability rules, so they stay in the Championship's relegation zone. Only 5 games to go. Tomorrow night on 5 Live, our focus is the Europa League quarter-finals. So we've got commentary of Bologna, Aston Villa, updates of Forest trip to Porto. One bit of news from that match, by the way. Forest boss Vito Pereira says Chris Wood is going to be back in the matchday squad after 6 months out with injury. Well timed that actually, Charlie Adam, because I've just been looking at Alexander Isak warming up for Liverpool. If he's fit enough for the bench, presumably he's fit enough to feature. Would he be someone you'd be thinking about bringing into this?
Yeah, not at the moment. I think he's probably got 20 minutes in him, half an hour maximum, just trying to get him back from this. But Liverpool have to be more of a threat in forward areas. They've, you know, let's say, PSG have dominated the game. You know, 75% possession, you know, really 2 big saves from the goalkeeper. Could have been 2 or 3. It's only 1. They're still in the game, but I'd like to see them being more of a threat in terms of that forward area. Verts, Ekitike, you know, have to hold it up and then make runs. The opportunities have come down that right-hand side where Paul said during the game was that ball in behind Mendes, the full-back of PSG. That's where they've been getting a wee bit of joy. And again, can they get in there and get in that final bit?
Much more from Charlie to come at full time. We'll be with you through until Tony Livesey at 10:30. A lot of football to be played between now and then. We'll keep you up to date with Barcelona, Atletico Madrid 1. Back to Paris. Ian.
Thank you, Steve. Neither side has made a change at half-time. I'll run through the 2 teams as we just wait for our Spanish referee, Jose Maria Sanchez, to get the game back underway, with Paris Saint-Germain predominantly in navy, playing from left to right in the second half against Liverpool, all in red. As they have Safanov in goal, Hakimi, Marquinhos, Pacho and Mendes, Zaire Emery, Neves and Vitinha in the midfield, and then Dembele, Doué the goal scorer, and Kvaratskhelia. Liverpool are playing with Mamardashvili in goal, a back 3 of Konate, Van Dijk and Gomez, Frimpong and Kerkez as the wing-backs. And then you've got Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai, Wirtz and Ekitike. Isak is on the bench. He's been back training with the team for the best part of a week now. And he will have a part to play. That was what Arne Slot had said in the press conference yesterday. Mo Salah, of course, is on the bench. One of 2 changes made from that 4-0 defeat against Manchester City in the FA Cup quarter-final on Saturday. This is the Champions League quarter-finals. It's live on BBC Radio 5 Live. And Paris Saint-Germain have got a throw deep inside their own half. Paul Robinson.
I mean, we talk about Mo Salah, didn't we? I remember when he was first left out the Liverpool side, that's all we spoke about for 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah. But now him actually being on the bench, we didn't even mention it before the game. It's almost it's a taken now. He's not a regular starter, is he?
It was that spell where he had 3 games for the first time in his Liverpool career. Never be heard before that he had been on the bench. Well, now, of course, they've got to move on from Mo Salah. Certainly will when he leaves at the end of the season. But here he might still have a role to play, just like Harvey Elliott did when he got that precious goal last season in a 1-0 win. However, Liverpool are looking for an equaliser rather than a late winner as in the early stages of the second half. Gomez with a long throw coming in from the left-hand side, headed up by Konate. Safanov has come a long way, gets the punch, headed back by Szoboszlai, headed out by Marquinhos. And then Szoboszlai is wary of the presence of Kvaratskhelia. And in the end, Frimpong, running back into his own half, has to go back to Mamardashvili, all in yellow. Flick on by Van Dijk. And he then all of a sudden, Van Dijk and Gomez just having words there. There was a breakdown in communication between the two.
Yeah, Van Dijk once again criticising his teammates. I mean, I don't necessarily like it. There's all four, yes, digging each other out and having a go and getting each other in the right places and at it, if you like. But there's no need for Van Dijk there to criticise Joe Gomez because he didn't overlap him when he flicked it on. I thought that was poor. I thought that his body language against Manchester City at times, you understand why he's doing it, and you understand as a leader and as a captain he's got a role to play. But there's also a role to play of a leadership and responsibility in setting the right examples, not criticising. Probably when players are in a situation where the confidence is, they don't really need criticising. It's the complete opposite they need.
Well, certainly his comments where he said we gave up against Manchester City. That's not been the case tonight so far in the 48 minutes as the ball goes long. Flag stays down. Wirtz lifts the ball up in the air. Waits for the supporting run of Szoboszlai to Ekitike. This looks promising. Ekitike goes for the curler. He had another option with Kerkez, who was coming on the overlap on this near side, the left, but he went right-footed, and it was always rising onto that blue bit of tarmac behind the goal. Away towards our left-hand side. Paris Saint-Germain still lead 1-0, live on 5 Live and Radio Merseyside.
Level with the corner of the 6-yard box, just outside the 18-yard box. Ekitike gets the ball out of his feet, but he just leans back. He's trying to shape it into that top far left-hand corner of Safanov's goal. He couldn't quite get any shape on it. He's just leaning back too far, Ekitike. But they have started better. I know it's very, very early stages, but they've started better in the second half, Liverpool.
Former England international goalkeeper Paul Robinson, who's with us here, as Gravenberch runs forward. Drifts to the right. Florian Wirtz, good close control. Pirouettes. Forward ball to Ekitike. Stroke back to Frimpong. Now with Konate. They're passing the ball a little quicker and certainly looking a lot more confident in the early stages of this second half. I think there were spells in that first half where Arne Slot has gone against his principles. He talked with real pride at times when they played Paris Saint-Germain. And indeed for the 35 minutes against Manchester City that he referenced a lot on Saturday about how they're going toe-to-toe with some of Europe's best sides. And here, there were a lot of time wasting going on from Liverpool in that first half, but on this occasion, they've seen a lot more of the ball in this early stages of the second period, but they trail by 1-0.
Yeah, better from them. Certainly, it's like he said to them at half-time, isn't it? It's like go and play without fear, because the first half performance, what I saw from Liverpool, they looked like a team that were playing with fear, that were inferior of their opponents. They sat off, they sat in that defensive shape, and they allowed Paris Saint-Germain far too much of the football, whereas it's almost like they've realised, well, we can actually get at these now.
Can you imagine the atmosphere at Anfield if it's still... Well, if it's still like this, or indeed if Liverpool could get an equaliser.
There's been some magical nights at Anfield, hasn't there? And they're certainly not out of this tie by a long way. If they can take this back, I mean, we're just seeing the possession stats on the screen now. 70% possession for Paris already. Liverpool only 30% possession in this game, but they're still in this game. And like you say, if they go back to Anfield with 1-0 defeat, that's not a bad result.
They're yet to have a shot on target. Zaire Emery will burst forward. He'll keep that ball in play on this near side, the right. Closed down now by McAllister. Hakimi is in support, 25 yards out from goal. Infield now to Dembele, might open up for Dembele. Then he's challenged and tackled by McAllister. Szoboszlai quickly comes under pressure though, as they swarmed all around him, 4 navy shirts. Here is Vitinha. That's what they can do. Arne Slot, when I was talking to him yesterday, they press. And they're very, very hard to get away from, as they once again have the ball, and every outfield player is in the Liverpool half to this near side, the right. João Neves. Hakimi's made the run into a central area. This is Doué, the goal scorer. Tries to get past Kerkez, helped out by Wirtz. Forward ball towards Ekitike, the return ball to Wirtz. Sliding to help win it back was Kvaratskhelia. Gravenberch has to head the ball under pressure forward and hurriedly, and Paris Saint-Germain get it back, but that's what they do.
They win it back so quickly. They're just a well-oiled machine, aren't they? They're so well coached. You know, it's a joy to watch, sat from up here, high in our vantage position. You can look down, you can see the spread of the whole pitch, and you can see the team as a complete unit. And that's what he said, didn't he? We spoke before the game about the superstars that have been moved on, and the investment was in the team. The team is the star. Yes, there's some incredible individuals in this team, but the team as a unit.
Hakimi hasn't dealt with the threat of... Kerkez hasn't dealt with the threat of Hakimi. Kerkez complains to the Spanish referee. Actually slams his hand down in annoyance. He thought he was fouled from behind. Hakimi burst into the penalty area on the right, and actually Gomez did ever so well to recover to prevent the cross from coming in. So Paris Saint-Germain have a corner on this near side. It's taken quickly. Doué rolls it by the byline to Dembele, edge of the area, and Hakimi skied it. Leaning back, right-footed, put it high in the air, out for a goal kick. Paris Saint-Germain still lead 1-0.
Yeah, I don't think that was ever meant to come for Hakimi. That was a misplaced pass from the short corner. Dembele ended up the ball with his back to goal, came out to the edge of the box to Hakimi, quickly rushed his shot, went high and very unhandsomely over the bar into those Paris supporters behind the goal.
7.5 minutes into the second half. Konate and Mamardashvili take the goal kick short. Georgian keeper hits it downfield. Mendes climbs in the air and wins the header. McAllister has given it straight back to the player he doesn't want to. That's Kvaratskhelia. Mendes on the overlap with a cutback. Dembele! That should be 2-0. That really should be 2-0, but left-footed by the penalty spot. He's absolutely skied it. And it's gone right over the crossbar. But McAllister's mistake really should have been punished.
Super play once again from PSG. Swift attacking move. It's Mendes overlapping Kvaratskhelia down the left-hand side. Mendes gets himself in a wonderful position, level with the 6-yard box, cuts it back to Dembele, picks his man out, completely unmarked, in between the 6-yard box and the penalty spot. First time on his left foot, nowhere near the target. That should have been a goal.
Well, the way that Kvaratskhelia and Mendes combined down that left-hand side, you know, as soon as McAllister presented it to the Georgian, you knew then that the alarm bells were ringing for Liverpool. However, they're fortunate, and it is still only 1-0 that they trail. Ball from Konate, goes long, Ekitike over the top. Ekitike, the goalkeeper has come, he's headed it, headed back by Szoboszlai. The goalkeeper's out of his penalty area, but Marquinhos will tidy up for Paris Saint-Germain. And in fact, the flag's up on the far side anyway.
Made a decision there. Safonov, the goalkeeper, a long ball over the top from Konate. It would have been tight whether Ekitike was offside or not. VAR would have checked it, but Safonov's decision was very late. He read the situation late and he arrived, he got there, he headed it away, but he caused a real mess because Szoboszlai headed it back towards the goal. Thankfully for PSG, for them, it was offside.
He broke his hand just before Christmas. He missed 7 games. He's actually only been the number one since the end of January. He's played now, if you include this, the last 14 games where he has displaced Lucas Chevalier, who they signed in the summer from Lille for 40 million euros on a 5-year deal. So the Russian international goalkeeper, he was bold on that occasion. Kvaratskhelia carries the ball forward. Mendes has gone on a marauding run from left back, but they won't keep the ball in play, and it'll peter out and out for a goal kick.
I think that is the one area, like Jules said before the game, that they are weak, PSG. When you look at their team, you look at their squad, they've got quality and strength and depth everywhere, apart from the goalkeeper situation. Safonov's been here since 2018, the Russian. I mean, he's been a number 2, hasn't he, most of the time?
Yeah.
To Donnarumma, to Chevalier when he came in, and then obviously Chevalier hasn't hit the levels that they wanted from him. I mean, a lot of eyebrows were raised when he was brought in at the beginning of the season. I remember doing the Tottenham PSG game in the Super Cup before the start of the season, and there was no Donnarumma. But obviously, it's still an area that needs addressing, in my opinion.
Frimpong on the halfway line. Szoboszlai gives it to Gravenberch. Liverpool pass the ball into the centre circle for Wirtz. Gomez now out to Kerkez. They do look a little bit more settled, a little bit more balanced in this second period. Ekitike has made the run forward. Pacho is almost manhandling him, but he's squeezed the ball in towards Wirtz. And then McAllister floats it out to Frimpong. Frimpong brings the ball down right-hand side, and then his cross takes a deflection. Safonov under pressure has punched it one-handed. Liverpool still have penned Paris Saint-Germain in and around their own penalty area, and as the cross is volleyed over by Szoboszlai, it's gathered in safely by Safonov, their keeper.
Yeah, they've been braver, Liverpool, with the ball in possession. Said that it was looking like nobody wanted to be that one that gave the ball away or took the chance in the final third that put the ball at risk. are actually now they're committing more men forward and they're more of an attacking threat.
The worry is, does that create the openings for Paris Saint-Germain at the other end? What's about Barcelona? Oh, looking for a run through the middle with Zaire Emery, Mamardashvili again, good anticipation. Mike Mane,
still 1-0 to Atletico Madrid, but Marcus Rashford so close. Free kick from 20 yards, deflection in the wall, took it onto the crossbar. You wouldn't know Barcelona are down to 10 the way they've started this second half, following that Kabasi red in the first half. Still Barcelona 0, Atletico Madrid 1.
And still the one goal separates the two sides here in Paris as Arne Slot barking out the orders, looking extremely animated with his bald head shining under the lights. Back towards Safanov, clears it downfield. Gomez on his toes, heads it out of play. Picked up by Enrique. They take it quickly, too quickly. I think that went out of play, didn't it, from Hakimi? Arne Slot thought it was as well.
Not seen him this animated in a long time, Arne Slot. Very much animated up and down the touchline, nowhere near his technical area. I think he's quite pleased with what he's seen, the response that he's getting after half-time.
Here is Pacho, comes to a standstill, chips the ball out towards Dembele, who's tackled and dispossessed by Gomez, who runs forward. Gomez makes a strong run on the left, now towards Ekitike, gets away from Dembele. Gomez has stayed in support. Here is Ekitike outside the area. Gravenberch 30 yards out now from the Paris Saint-Germain goal. Play it back to the left for Kerkez. Still Liverpool trail by 1-0. 5 Live, BBC Sounds, Radio Merseyside, and we're also live on the red button, the iPlayer and the BBC Sport website. As McAllister comes forward. Now, was he fouled by Pacho? The referee says no. McAllister is still on the floor.
It's a good one too, McAllister and Szoboszlai. Just on the edge of the 18-yard box, McAllister looks like he's about to get through, but Pacho, I think he's timed his challenge just right. McAllister's still battering the floor in frustration, but he's not getting the free kick now. He needs to get back in shape.
Yes, he does, as Paris Saint-Germain with Zaire Emery, who is given the ball away to Wirtz. Wirtz will pick that up, and McAllister now is unmarked inside the centre circle. Frimpong is racing away to his right. The diagonal ball, Frimpong, first time cross with a cutback. Wirtz to McAllister. That was blocked by Pacho. They're appealing for a handball. The referee, though, says it strikes the body. Now all of a sudden the game is opened up, and this one with to Liverpool's liking, as Kvaratskhelia gives it to Dembele, glides in off that left-hand side, but then he runs into trouble. The brick wall of Konate, who now runs forward. Alan Hansen-esque from Konate. Now to Ekitike. Ekitike to the edge of the area. These last 2 minutes, the two of them have been going toe-to-toe.
Well, it's open. The game's very, very open now. Liverpool committing bodies forward, looking, they're chasing that goal, but in turn they're leaving themselves wide open at the back, and the pace there of Kvaratskhelia and Dembele and Doué on the counter-attack just shows what a problem that Liverpool could have. But it's better from Liverpool. I'm liking what I see. McAllister struck that ball just from the edge of the box when they wanted the penalty. Pacho kind of jumps at him but turns with his arm behind his body. It was never going to be a penalty.
No, even by UEFA's strict handball guidelines. They that have looked at it, of course, would have the VAR, Carlos Del Cerro Grande, but that would have been a no from the Spanish official. 1-0 to Paris Saint-Germain. As Konate, born in Paris actually, one of 8 children, used to play for Sochaux. With an hour played, Paris Saint-Germain lead by 1-0 as Vitinha picks it up. We'll bring you the reaction from Arne Slot if we can before Tony Livesey takes over at 10:30 on 5 Live. Charlie Adam in the studio. We'll hear from Julien Laurent. Paul Robinson alongside me here in the commentary box, as well as João Neves. Passes the ball back to Marquinhos. And now Vitinha. Fullbacks are pushed on. Vitinha is to the left of the 2 central defenders, and this is where he gets on the ball, and this is where he likes to try and dictate. And then Kvaratskhelia will roam and pick up the ball, and then Zaire Emery will have a little touch as well. But they're playing in front of Liverpool.
Yeah, they're having to be patient as well, which is what they're good at as well. They're good at keeping the ball, the possession that we've seen. They're a possession-based side, but what they're trying to do, Liverpool, in this defensive shape, PSG are having to try and pull them out of position. You know, they're trying to entice people in to try and get the press and then get in behind Liverpool.
Here is Dembele to Doué, the goal scorer. Kerkez keeps his shape, holds the line. Ball goes back to Marquinhos. Vitinha is outside the centre circle. Neves is now on the ball as well, but Liverpool with the 2 lines of red, they're just trying to make sure that Paris Saint-Germain can't play through them. Back towards Vitinha inside this lively stadium. Not been silent throughout. Hakimi now is forward. Hakimi's cross. Good block again from Joe Gomez. He's done well as Gomez in defence tonight for Liverpool.
Made some very good recovery runs. He shuts off good areas. He sometimes gets done for pacing in behind, but what he does is positional awareness. He knows where the ball's going to come in. He anticipates where the cross is going to be. And once again, he slides across the near post and blocks the shot.
Corner kick then to Paris Saint-Germain, who lead by a goal to nil. It's on this near side, the right. It's an outswinger from Doué. Ekitike will head the ball out from a crowded 6-yard area. Vitinha, the Paris Saint-Germain supporters behind both goals have just been swaying from side to side. Liverpool's defence continues to hold firm after conceding early from Doué after 11 minutes. Vitinha outside the centre circle. Szoboszlai approaches him. Vitinha, though, is not fazed by the presence of the Hungarian, and then plays the ball back to Pacho, who almost comes to a standstill inside the centre circle. Paul.
Yeah, the earlier intensity from Liverpool has dropped away, hasn't it? They're quite happy to let PSG have this possession and have the possession in front of them. When they do look dangerous, Paris, is when they get in behind Liverpool. But actually, Kvaratskhelia has shifted over to this right-hand side now. The two wingers have switched sides, which is always a good sign that you're doing well against them.
Dembele's just been standing in an offside position. Joe Gomez was aware of him, but there was also Hakimi, who likes to get forward into that inverted role from right back, and Joe Gomez was shouting out to his teammates saying, I've got two of them here.
It's Kvaratskhelia again, look, isn't it, and Hakimi on this right-hand side. They overlap, they tuck in the very, very difficult to mark Kerkez, McAllister and Gomez. Between the three of them, they're having to do a job on both of them. Kerkez again going close now on Hakimi, higher up in the PSG half, which has been a trait of Liverpool in the second half, noticeably pressing higher up the field.
And Kerkez, for his diligent defending, was applauded by Arne Slot. Hakimi waits to take the throw. Midway through the Paris Saint-Germain half, 63 minutes played. Don't forget the US Masters underway tomorrow. Mark Chapman will present 5 Live Sport from Augusta, and the coverage Sports Extra from 8 o'clock tomorrow night for the first round, with Ian Carter and the team. João Neves runs forward, far side the left. Kvaratskhelia has a little breather as he releases the ball out towards that far side, and then Vitinha passes the ball to Marquinhos. Hakimi provides the width on this near side, the right, almost level with the penalty area.
It's all very much at their own pace, isn't it, PSG? It's them that are controlling the tempo of the game, the speed of the ball. They're just, at the moment, they're just rotating possession. They're keeping the ball in front of Liverpool. Every Liverpool player to a man is inside their own defensive third, but they're not getting in behind them.
Here is Hakimi up against Kerkez. Inside is Dembele. Dembele passes the ball short. Doué with his back to goal just outside the penalty area. Hakimi gives it back to Doué. Shuffles the ball inside. Zaire Emery will pass the ball to Marquinhos, and the Paris Saint-Germain captain, now in his 14th season at the club. Over 500 appearances, 516 to be precise, as Vitinha gives it to Kvaratskhelia. They are dominating as they're looking for the ball through, and here is Kvaratskhelia. Kvaratskhelia goes round the goalkeeper, and Kvaratskhelia scores. You have to say that was brilliant. A moment of individual brilliance by Kvaratskhelia, with his 8th goal in the Champions League. And Liverpool now have problems as Paris Saint-Germain get a second goal. The defending Champions League 2-0.
He's a special player. He's a real talent, is the Georgian. What a brilliant individual goal. It's a superb pass, though, from Vitinha that makes the goal. It's a beautifully weighted ball in behind the Liverpool back five. The weight of the pass from Vitinha, it cuts the defence wide open, but it has just enough pace on to stop almost in Kvaratskelia's path. He runs onto it at pace, cuts across the front of the Liverpool defenders. Once he gets into the 18-yard box, they can't touch him. He's away, he's in. There's a bit of a clumsy challenge, an attempted tackle on him. He rides that, he could have gone down, goes round the goalkeeper and taps it into an empty net. There is one to tune into Match of the Day for tonight. That is a brilliant goal from PSG.
And once he's gone round and committed Mamardashvili 6 yards out from goal, he feigns to shoot and doesn't shoot at the first time because he's aware of two more Liverpool players who are running back. So he waits because it was Gomez and Kerkez, and in the end he finds the gap to an empty net.
He's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. There's 3 Liverpool players just paying their entrance ticket to get back in. I mean, they all went sliding across the goal. He sold them all a brilliant dummy. That, what you just said, he had the nerve and the calmness just to wait. He was in that situation. He didn't panic, saw the goal in front of him, yet he knew he needed another touch. Sign of a quality player.
Only Mbappe, Kane and Haaland have now scored more goals than Kvaratskhelia in the Champions League this season. He's level with Alvarez, because he's scored for Atletico Madrid, where they've both got 8 goals in this campaign. It was just superb.
Well, his goal involvements are incredible as well. I mean, before this game, he had 11 goal involvements in 11 games, 7 goals, 4 assists.
Wirtz loses the ball. Kvaratskhelia plays it back to Mendes, who almost sells Vitinha a little bit short. But Kvaratskhelia now has scored in his last 4 Champions League games, 5 in total. He is a man who is in a rich vein of form, and at 25 years of age, Kvaratskhelia is only going to get better. Ekitike. Arne Slot was sitting down on his bench. He's now back in his technical area, and he's trying to gee up his Liverpool players.
Yeah, there's a few disgruntled faces out there. Szoboszlai now, he's just having a word with Ekitike. Van Dijk's got his arms slumped down his side, clapping, trying to get some encouragement into his players. And it's difficult when you're in this situation, when you're a fragile team, when you're hurt, you're low in confidence, when you go 2-0 down and you're struggling to get any type of a foothold in the game. It's not a good place to be. They need to try and come out of this game unscathed.
They can't afford to concede again, trailing 2-0. Kerkez with a cross. Liverpool, remember, are still yet to have a shot on target as they trail by 2-0. As Frimpong wrestles Kvaratskhelia to the floor, and the Spanish referee will give a free kick to Paris Saint-Germain. But we are midway through the second half, and Paris Saint-Germain are in control, leading by 2-0.
In all honesty, have they not been in control at any point? You don't ever feel that, do you? You feel that they've always been in control of this game. Yes, the tempo's dropped, and yes, they might not be as pungent going forward as they have been at times, but you just get the feeling that they're in complete control of the game, controlling the tempo, the passing, and the way that they want to play. Liverpool have danced to their tune.
Yeah. Paris Saint-Germain have dictated from the first whistle. There's João Neves, and there's a confidence about the way that they are playing, as they are looking for what would be a 5th straight win. It scored 15 goals in those previous 4 consecutive victories. Paris Saint-Germain. And the thing is, they'll go to Anfield next week and they'll back themselves to score as well.
But the thing with this side, they play the same, don't they? Home and away, regardless of what competition it is, whether it's the league or the Champions League, whatever competition they're playing in, they're coached in a way and they have a certain way of system that the personnel may vary, but the system definitely won't change. But it is so difficult because they pop up everywhere.
They're playing through Liverpool at the moment. Here is Doué now with a real menace coming in off the right touchline. So many navy shirts ahead of them. One of them is a mark. Zaire Emery taken out from behind by Konate. It's a penalty. It is a penalty. It was a clumsy challenge from Konate, who's been shown a yellow card. And it's all starting to unravel for Liverpool in Paris.
It's a really tough one for Liverpool. Konate, he's got the wrong side, isn't he? He gets caught, not goal side. It's a lovely ball in once again. It's such a good piece of play from PSG. Zaire Emery just about to pull the trigger. It looks like he was going to tap it past Mamardashvili from 7 yards out. Konate comes round the side, and actually he does get a piece of the ball. I think he gets Zaire Emery first, but he does get a piece of the ball. He's unfortunate there, the Liverpool defender. But I do think they might have a look at it, you know, because he has got some of the ball.
Well, actually, you've called it spot on, Paul. Carlos Del Cerro Grande, the VAR official, has actually now instructed Jose Maria Sanchez to come across to the monitor.
He got a good chunk of the ball, Konate, but there was a connection before he got the ball, which is what the referee will be looking at. They're looking at the replay now, and thankfully it's not the slow motion or the still that he's seeing. Konate looks to wrap his right leg around Zaire Emery to make the challenge. I don't think there's enough contact there first, but he gets the ball. I think this might get overturned, you know. I think that's a half-decent challenge. If that's overturned, it's a very good challenge.
Well, Konate waits. And here we wait for the reaction from the referee, who walks away after looking at the monitor. No penalty. A reprieve for Liverpool. Konate will have the yellow card rescinded. And Konate has that yellow card taken away from him, by which point he was already walking across to the Liverpool supporters in the far corner away towards our right to try and gee up the Liverpool supporters.
Goal-saving challenge. That really is a goal-saving challenge. And the more you look at it, I'm glad that the referees overturned that, actually, because yes, there was a little bit of contact before he got the ball, but it was a brave challenge to make, because he was literally just about to put it into an empty net. It's a brave challenge, but a really good challenge from Konate.
Here is Kerkez. Kerkez finds Wirtz. Wirtz with a shot. Safanov had dived away, and Vitinha was the one who actually put his left foot on the ball and stopped it. Now there was a potential breakaway by Kvaratskhelia. The referee has given a free kick to Paris Saint-Germain. I don't think there was any way back for Liverpool at 3-0 down.
No, there definitely wasn't any way back for Liverpool at 3-0 down. That's why it was such a big call from Konate to make that challenge in the situation. He had to, because Zaire Emery was about to score a goal. It was a brave challenge, but it was a very, very good challenge.
Kerkez has gone down with cramp. And it's actually Zaire Emery who's bending back the... In fact, no, it's Doué who's bending back the toes of the left leg of Kerkez, rather sportingly, to try and alleviate the cramp, as there's been another goal in Spain. Mike Maine.
Oh, and it's from nothing as well. Barcelona 0, Atletico Madrid 2. Barcelona put everything into this second half, yet are now 2-0 down. Cross in from the left, and it's the substitute Alexander Sorloth gets in front of his defender, flicks it on left-footed, powers it past Juan Garcia, and it is Barcelona 0, Atletico Madrid 2. 20 years since they last won in the Nou Camp.
So in that half of the draw, it's advantage Arsenal and most certainly advantage Atleti. Here we are in Paris. 5 Live Sport. Paris Saint-Germain still lead Liverpool by 2-0. And we have 16 minutes remaining of normal time. There would be a clear advantage for Paris Saint-Germain. They would be the overwhelming favourites. But at 2-0, Liverpool could still create one of those special evenings, albeit against an extremely talented Paris Saint-Germain side, who are going to make a change. And the South Korean international, Kang-in Lee, is going to come on for the last quarter of an hour or so. Still no sign of Isak, still no sign of Salah, as the ball is played in field by Dembele. And this is Zaire Emery to carry the ball, and then to Vitinha to his left. Doué, who got the first goal, strokes it back. Liverpool have the red shirts back behind the ball. There might be activity on the Liverpool bench as well. Gakpo is going to be coming on for sure.
3. I think there's 3 of them coming, making their way back to the Liverpool dugout. The bibs are coming off, the tops are coming off, they're looking for the shirts. Gakpo's definitely one. I think Isak may be another one.
So question, does he twist and stick in an attempt to get a goal back? Certainly, this is where you're in a bit of a conundrum, because you definitely can't afford to concede a third with 15 minutes to go, as Vitinha once again probes out towards that far side. Doué bursts forward, runs into trouble. McAllister's forward ball to Wirtz. Wirtz then will try and take it away by Mendes. He holds off a challenge of Kvaratskhelia. His forward ball to Ekitike. Ekitike up against Pacho. The two of them played together at Eintracht Frankfurt, and he couldn't get past the central defender. And Paris Saint-Germain are able to bring the ball forward.
Yeah, on a slot down there, he's going to make 3 substitutions. He is going to try and have a roll of the dice and see if they can get something from this game.
Dembele to Doué, shot blocked, ball rebounds. Vitinha picks it up, there's no width on the left, central position, over 30 yards out from goal, leading 2-0. Kvaratskhelia, the danger man on the ball, drifts into a central area now. A casual chip pass towards Neves, passes the ball forward to Dembele. Right side of the area, passes the ball to Kvaratskhelia. who'd ghosted his way in towards the penalty box, and then Liverpool looking tired, are dispossessed by Gravenberch, and Paris Saint-Germain have it once more.
How many times are we going to say such good forward play, fluidity from PSG once again on the right-hand side? They work the ball so well, get the ball into the Liverpool 18-yard box.
Dembele has a attempted ball that was blocked by the legs of McAllister. Frimpong, who looks full of running, is challenged by Mendes. Mendes will get there first and will safely see the ball out for a Paris Saint-Germain throw. So Paris Saint-Germain will make their first change. This will be Kang In Lee, and it'll be Doué as the player who's going to be coming off. He got that first goal. So the 20-year-old forward, the French international, is replaced by the South Korean. We're going to see Curtis Jones, we're going to see Gakpo, Robertson and Alexander Isak. So it's actually going to be a quadruple change being made by Arne Slot for some fresh legs out there.
Just wonder whether he's going to change the system as well. Kirkes clearly struggling down on this near side. He's struggled with cramp. Ekitike, I think, struggled to get into the game most of the night, but he has been starved of service. I think with Isak coming on, it gives them an opportunity on the counter-attack as well. We know the pace that he's got. That's something that they might look to do, sit in and use his pace in behind late on.
So Ekitike has come across to this far side, the fourth official. Robertson is the first one to come on. That's like for like. He replaces Kirkes at left wing back. Florian Wirtz is wandering across as well. So Ekitike has come off, Szoboszlai is coming off, and Wirtz has come off. And Alexander Isak, who has missed the last 22 matches after that broken left leg, makes a return after a 109-day absence to come on for Ekitike.
Big moment for Isak, isn't it? I mean, they've missed him for a long time now. Liverpool spent a lot of money on him. This is the stage of the season where they could really do with him hitting the ground running, but they're in trouble here.
Nobody's picked up the run of João Neves. Kvaratskhelia will still take it on. He runs forward on the left-hand side. They were sleeping there. Ball played into Kang In Lee. He plays it back to Dembele. Has to take it on the stretch. Where was the Liverpool defence there?
Well, they were making the four substitutes still. Arne Slot's in the year, the fourth official down beneath us. PSG took a really quick throw on the far touchline. Long, quick throw straight in behind the Liverpool defence. Kvaratskhelia was almost in.
So Jones for Szoboszlai, Gakpo for Wirtz, Isak for Ekitike and Robertson for Kirkes to tidy up those four changes for Liverpool. Paris Saint-Germain still lead by 2-0, still in control. And we have just over 10 minutes remaining here on 5 Live. We can't bring you the live reaction. It'll be on the 5 Live Football Daily Pod, available from the usual outlets.
There's no shape change from Arne Slot, so he's quite happy with his back five, and it very much is a back five now. PSG are in possession. Isak and Gakpo will play as a front two. It's like a 5-3-2 at the moment, isn't it? With Curtis Jones sat in front of that back five. Quite defensive, but as I say, they've got the pace on the counter-attack should they use it.
Well, Lee, who's a winger, South Korean international, 46 caps, the Asian Player of the Year for 2025, is staying very wide on this near side, the right, as Marquinhos passes the ball to Lee, who runs back with real purpose midway through his own half, actually then creates the space on this right-hand side for Hakimi to get forward. He's now on the halfway line, and 10 more minutes remain in normal time. And Paris Saint-Germain have a 2-goal cushion to take to Anfield for next week's return leg. Dembele to Kvaratskhelia. Kvaratskhelia runs forward, Frimpong back pedals, Dembele at a walking pace, comes onto it 30 yards out. To Vitinha once again. Neves. Hakimi is into a central area. Dembele. Lee provides the width, strokes it back inside to Dembele, looks for the run of Hakimi. Jones had gone back with him. Gomez with a block on this occasion.
Looks like a damage limitation set up for Liverpool again, doesn't it? I mean, they had the flashes at the start of this second half, but I think the whole game, as we said, PSG have controlled the tempo, and they've been a team. We were talking about the English Premier League champions that have been far inferior. They've come here and they've set up in a way, and it's almost like, OK, we're not as good a team as you. This is a really old-fashioned way of setting up away from home, isn't it? A back five defensively, thinking we'll try and nick a goal on the counter-attack. You can see why he's done it, but I don't think he's got the players to do it.
No. Incidentally, the Premier League, where people say, oh, it's the best league in the world, Paris Saint-Germain will be unbeaten in their last 8 games against Premier League opposition in the Champions League, that is. Because, of course, Chelsea beat them in the Club World Cup final. That's including this match where they lead by 2-0, because Paris Saint-Germain can't even see them conceding one on the evidence of tonight. They're leading 2-0. The only question is, can they find a third goal on the balance of play that we've witnessed tonight in the next 8 minutes of normal time?
They're so well coached as a team and a unit, aren't they?
Ball over the top for Mendes. They're threatening again down the left. Mendes runs forward into the penalty area, plays it back, goes over the head of Dembele. Zaire Emery to Hakimi. That bobbling ball is forward to Dembele. Back towards Hakimi. First time shot. Great save, Mamardashvili. Dembele on the rebound, blocked then by Robertson. Mamardashvili has made 3 important saves. Otherwise, Paris Saint-Germain could have been out of sight.
Yeah, they could have been 3 or 4 up without a shadow of a doubt. Once again, it's the fullback Mendes. I think the ball's actually gone out of play on the far side. We know that VAR can't interfere with corners this season as yet. Left-footed from Hakimi. Ball's pulled back to him from Dembele. On his left foot, side foot, down at the goalkeeper's near post. Another good save from Mamardashvili.
Corner kick that Lee will take for Paris Saint-Germain. Playing from left to right, near side to right, leading 2-0. It's an in-swinger, and it's off the head of Kvaratskhelia, and it goes out for a goal kick to Liverpool.
You called it absolutely right. We're at that stage in the game now where, yes, 2-0's disappointing, but the game's not out of reach. If Liverpool go to Anfield and they get the first goal there, it changes, the perspective changes very, very quickly. But if you go all out now and try and get another goal, leave yourself exposed, 3-0 is almost an impossible task against a side like this. Yeah. But with Anfield, with the, a European night at Anfield, with Liverpool under the lights, 2-0 is not out of the question, but they've been well outplayed tonight.
Yeah, mind you, when they played each other in the last 16 last season, Liverpool won here by 1-0. Even Arne Slot admitted they should have lost 4-0 that night, but still ended up going out on penalties as Paris Saint-Germain went to Anfield, winning by 1-0 and then going through.
And you can see the way that they've set up tonight. We just had a graphic on the screen again. Liverpool are still, we're in the 84th minute, still not had a shot on target, which is surprising because coming into this game, these two teams had the most shots in the Champions League. PSG 90 and Liverpool second on 85. Shots on target, but not one for Liverpool tonight.
No. Safanov, the goalkeeper, plays it forward. Hakimi leaves it for Vitinha. Jones applies a bit of pressure. Gakpo chases after Marquinhos. Safanov, the goalkeeper, all in green, clears away downfield. Gomez will volley the ball back. We've got 7 minutes remaining of normal time. Robertson to Gakpo, tries to turn away from Marquinhos. McAllister went into a biting challenge with Marquinhos. McAllister has stayed down. Paris Saint-Germain want to take the throw quickly, but the referee doesn't allow them to do so.
Luis Enrique down beneath us is in deep conversation with his assistant. He's living every minute. He wants another goal for his side. He knows that Liverpool are there for the taking tonight. He knows that his side could put this tie to bed.
Yeah, here is Mendes. Slot not happy that Mendes wasn't closed down, still full of running as he pushes the ball to Dembele. Kvaratskhelia now comes onto it unmarked. They're flooding forward the navy shirts. This looks ominous for Liverpool. Kvaratskhelia stopped by Van Dijk. They commit so many players forward.
They've got no answer to Kvaratskhelia over there down that side. Frimpong just keeps backing off and backing off. Problem is, if he goes tight like he did in the first half, he'll skip past him. Now he's dropping off and dropping off. He's giving him the time and space to run at him. So he's arriving at the fullback, much more pace, and he just skips past him. Frimpong's been completely outplayed tonight.
Since the game here last season, it is essentially the same team for Paris Saint-Germain, with the exception of Donnarumma, who's now at Manchester City. Liverpool, of course, no Trent Alexander-Arnold, Luis Diaz, and tragically, of course, Diogo Jota. Diogo Jota, who played in both legs when Paris Saint-Germain prevailed in that last 16 encounter. They've actually not lost a European tie to an English club since the semi-finals against Manchester City in 2021.
You look at where both clubs have been in that time since the years past, since Liverpool last played PSG, and you look what PSG have gone on to achieve and where they've gone on this season. And arguably, since the start of this season, Liverpool, since that game, have regressed, haven't they?
Yeah. Transition was the word that Arne Slot used. They've got a throw of Liverpool. Yet to have a shot on target. We're in the 86th minute. And in comes the throw over on that far side, headed away by Mendes. Bouncing ball. Frimpong hasn't got there. Dembele now is onto it. Liverpool's defence has to try and get back. Here is Lee. Lee to the edge of the area. Back towards Dembele! He strikes the post. It was a rising right-footed effort. And it cannons away off the right-hand post. And another let-off for Liverpool.
How many chances are they going to give away tonight, Liverpool? Frimpong that time, he completely misjudges the bouncing ball on the halfway line, and the last person you want on your shoulder is Ousmane Dembele. He absolutely flies forward, finds Kang In Lee, goes on the outside of him, on the overlap, and he hits a shot with so much pace and venom. Hits the near post, strikes Mamardashvili's near post. Yet again, another let-off for Liverpool, but a really good chance again for Paris.
And that, in fact, was going to be the last bit of the action for Ousmane Dembele, because he is going to come off and Lucas Hernandez is going to come on. He's a defender for a striker. And is that Luis Enrique saying, OK, I'll take my 2-0?
Yeah, just looking as well, Hernandez is going over there to the left-back position where we know he plays. Just having a look, it's actually Kvaratskhelia who's gone higher up the pitch. Dembele's come off, he's made the substitution. Kvaratskhelia will be the one now that plays higher up the field.
You think, though, that Dembele hasn't been ruthless in front of goal. He was unlucky there with that effort to hit the post. He had a glaring miss earlier on, and Mamardashvili has made 3 saves. This could have been 5 or 6 for Liverpool that they conceded tonight.
When you look at it like that, yeah, they've got away lightly, if you like. I mean, you look at all the stats, you look at the BBC website, you look at the possession, you look at the shots on target, shots off target, attempts, chances created. PSG are absolutely streets ahead in all of the statistics. Liverpool, they've got away with one tonight if they get away from here 2-0.
Yeah. In such a one-sided contest, as Kvaratskhelia links up with Hakimi. Kvaratskhelia lifts the ball over Hakimi, he's in on goal. Van Dijk can't keep pace with him, he crosses the ball. This is an opportunity for Mendes. That's the 2 fullbacks, incidentally. Mendes now back to Kvaratskhelia, blocked by McAllister. They are such an insane team to watch. You've got the 2 fullbacks who've got an opportunity to try and get a 3rd goal in the 89th minute.
One fullback setting up the other fullback inside the 6-yard box in the 89th minute. Wow, what a team, what an incredible watch they are. Such an attacking force.
Hakimi with a shot blocked by Van Dijk. He's still panting, he's still trying to get his breath back after that run. I mean, Mendes
just made a mess of it, didn't he? His first touch. I mean, it was a great piece of play, a great break again over the top from PSG. Hakimi down this right-hand side, he was in acres of space. He could have actually taken the shot on himself. Unselfishly, he squared it to Mendes. First touch is what let him down, but he still had 2 or 3 more bites at it.
And he's still forward, actually playing on this near side, the right. You know, the way that they rotate, just drop in, support each other. They play with a real verve, a panache.
An arrogance as well, if you like, but they're very good at it. And like I say, we sit here high up on the gantry position looking down, and you see the rotation, the movement of the players, not just the ball, but you see the players. They always there's always a pass on. A player will always be in space. You know, that's the hardest thing to do. When a team's struggling, you look up and you see the backs of shirts and bodies walking away from you. But their movement off the ball is incredible.
Liverpool trailing by 2-0, and they're going to make a change. Trey Nyoni is going to be coming on for what will be his 18th appearance. So no Mo Salah, it would seem, ahead of that game at 5:30 against Fulham. You'll hear it on BBC Radio 5 Live, where the supporters are planning to protest against the owners over the increased ticket prices at Anfield. And it is going to be Frimpong who's going to be coming off for Nyoni to come on. And we are into 3 minutes of added time. So this has got a real feel, a different feel for Liverpool from 13 months ago. Criticism for the manager. The players have been criticised. Van Dijk was critical, and also the supporters are protesting as well.
And I've seen nothing different tonight. The attitude and the application has been better. The Manchester City game, that was questioned by their own captain. Actually, the attitude, the application, sticking to the task. But they've just been found wanting in certain areas. Defensively, they've been exposed. The ball's down the side of them. PSG have created so much. This could have been so much worse for Liverpool.
Yeah. They've been clearly second best. Yes, they have competed. But here comes Mendes again. He's leaving for Canate for dead over on the far side. Oh, I might have been a push there by Canate on the back of Mendes.
Oh, that's risky. Oh, that's risky from Canate.
It was more out of frustration. VAR would naturally have a look at that, but the supporters to our right, this will be telling now how quickly the ball comes in play.
No, we're stopping. We're stopping. We're just having a look. The referee's got his hand to his ear. Mendes gets in behind Canate. He streaks clear of Canate. Canate's busting a gut to get back in, and you can see his frustration. He can't get to Mendes, so he just puts out his left arm and shoves the fullback over. Obviously, listen, he's made a brilliant challenge tonight, Canate, and he's got away with one. I don't think he's going to get away with this one.
The check is over.
Oh, he's a lucky boy.
He is a lucky boy. That was a really, really foolish moment from Canate. But Carlos Del Cerro Grandes had a look at it, and they've gone with what would be classed as the referee's call, because it would not be deemed to be a clear and obvious error. But had it been given, I don't think Liverpool could have complained.
No, for me, it was. I looked at it straight away, and we both looked at each other, didn't we? We thought penalty was going to be given. Clear, blatant push in the penalty area.
Robertson with a free kick, goes out towards Gakpo, bounces up to him on that far side, the right, level with the area. We're into the last 60 seconds of stoppage time. Liverpool trailing by 2-0. Here is Gravenberch. Jones now to the edge of the area, and never really had full control of the ball. Robertson then has to go back to Mamardashvili. Pushed him a little bit further wide. He's out of his penalty area, and he passes the ball and plays it to Gravenberch. Now with Gakpo. Gakpo will run forward, midway through the Paris Saint-Germain half. Gravenberch now takes over, runs forward. Was he tripped? The referee had a good view of that and says no. And the ball will go out of play for a throw, and by my watch, we're almost the last... Well, the 3 minutes are all but over.
And I still don't think Alexander Isak has touched the ball. I mean, he's come on as a substitute, 5-10 minutes ago. I don't think he's had a touch of the football yet.
Well, it went in his direction there, and it went straight down the throat of Matvei Safonov, the Russian goalkeeper, who's caught the ball on his edge of his area. There is indeed the full-time whistle. And Liverpool have got away lightly. They've been beaten by 2-0, but the damage could have been far worse. Mamardashvili with 3 significant saves. Dembele hitting the post and then blazing another opportunity over the bar. And Paris Saint-Germain will go for the return leg at Anfield as the overwhelming favourites, because Liverpool didn't even muster a shot on target.
No, they were poor. They were really poor. I mean, after the Manchester City performance, he wanted a response tonight, the manager and the captain. They wanted some type of performance. They changed the structure, they changed the system, played a back 5, which from the first whistle, they were very submissive. It was like they came here and admitted that we're not as good a team as you, so we're going to play in a defensive shape. We're going to try and stay in this game and take something back to Anfield. To their credit, they've stayed in the game, because at only 2, they're still in a chance with this at the second leg. Not much of a chance the way that they played. They were exposed far too many times defensively, runners in behind, down the side. The goalkeeper was man of the match for me. Mamardashvili was absolutely excellent. Saved it been a lot worse for Liverpool. But on that performance, there's a lot of work to do against a very, very good Paris team.
A lot of work to do. It's finished here in the Parc des Princes. Paris Saint-Germain 2, Liverpool 0.
So we're going to be live talking Champions League football through until Tony Livesey takes over at 10:30. So we've got lots of time to get into this in more depth, Paul. Before we do anything, though, how on earth has Canate got away with that at the end?
I don't know. I really don't know. It was a blatant penalty. I mean, the referee didn't see it on the pitch. Canate, he got away with one. The tackle that he had inside the 6-yard box, it turned out to be an outstanding challenge. Penalty was overturned. But then the minute the referee stopped the game there for the VAR, I'm so surprised that he didn't go over to the screen. Because Mendes has got in behind Canate, and he's struggling to keep up with him. He's streaks ahead of him, Mendes. Canate's just put his arm across his back and just shoved him over blatantly inside the 18-yard box. As we say, there's a lot of times it could have been a lot worse for Liverpool tonight. They've got away with one.
If Salford was Stockley Park, Charlie Adam, would you have been given a penalty there?
Yeah, I thought it was a penalty in the end. But just Paul said what Dino said. I think Liverpool have been very lucky it's only 2. And they have to regroup, go again, because there's no easy game at the weekend against Fulham at home, so that'll be another tough one. So, yeah, they'll be happy that it's only 2.
It was almost, Paul, a movement, a moment that summed up Liverpool's entire night. Just the fact that he ended up doing that motion, that moment, tells you everything you need to know about the game.
Yeah, and you can see the players now trudging off, the body language on the players in those red shirts. It's not good. It's not a harmonious camp at the moment. There's only one player that will come off that pitch with any credit tonight, and that's the goalkeeper, Mamardashvili, who we questioned before the game. The manager criticised after the Manchester City game. They didn't look cohesive in that system, and like I said to you, as soon as you go to a back five, it stinks of that you're submissive and that you're going to sit off teams and you're trying to stay in a game. You can argue all you like that it's a back three with the wing backs pushing high, but when you're a team that's fragile and you're lacking confidence and the manager says you're playing a back five, as soon as you lose possession you naturally drop into a back five, and that's what Liverpool did all night. Offered absolutely nothing going forward, didn't have a shot on target in the whole game. But it's going to be a big task to overturn this. They're not in a good place at the moment.
Lots more reaction to come from the Parc des Princes. We will also, after 10 o'clock, tell you more about what's happened at the Camp Nou, where the full-time whistle has just gone. Mike Miner.
Yeah, and Atletico Madrid will leave with a 2-0 lead for next week's second leg. They also leave Barcelona with their first win inside the Nou Camp in 20 years. Barcelona may have had the more chances, but the first goal came as Hansa Flick's side were reduced to 10. Kubasi, last man foul on Simeone. Alvarez scored the resultant free kick from 20 yards. In the second half, there was just one side going for the second goal, but it was actually the other who got it. Counter-attack from Atletico Madrid, ending with Sorloth flicking in a cross from the left-hand side. Atletico Madrid have won both previous knockout ties with Barcelona, and they're on course to do it again. Barcelona 0, Atletico Madrid 2.
OK, so before 10:30, Ernest Massey will join us to reflect a little bit more on that historic win for Atletico Madrid at the Camp Nou. Julien Laurent will be back with us shortly as well for more on PSG 2, Liverpool 0. So we'll be back inside the Parc des Princes after the news with Fraser Denton.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks, Steve. Good evening. There are signs the 2-week ceasefire agreed last night by the United States and Iran is already under strain. Iran is warning that ships will need permission to pass through the Strait of Hormuz, despite Tehran initially saying it would reopen the waterway as part of the deal. Israel has carried out its heaviest wave of airstrikes on Lebanon since hostilities against Hezbollah resumed last month. Lebanon's civil defense agency says 254 people were killed today. Speaking before boarding a plane, the US Vice President J.D. Vance said Lebanon wasn't promised a truce.
I think this comes from a legitimate misunderstanding. I think the Iranians thought that the ceasefire included Lebanon, and it just didn't. We never made that promise. We never indicated that was going to be the case. What we said is that the ceasefire would be focused on Iran, and the ceasefire would be focused on America's allies, both Israel and the Gulf Arab states.
A woman nicknamed the Ketamine Queen has been jailed for 15 years for selling the drugs that killed Friends actor Matthew Perry. He was found dead in a hot tub at his home in 2023. Jasveen Sangha, who has British and American dual nationality, pleaded guilty last year to 5 charges. A 48-year-old pastor has been charged with gross negligence manslaughter after a man drowned at a baptism in Birmingham. The charge relates to a ceremony in 2023. Cheryl Bartley is due to appear before magistrates next month. Scientists at Oxford University have used artificial intelligence in a new way to predict heart failure up to 5 years in advance. The pioneering tool checks routine heart CT scans to identify significant changes in the fat around the heart that is invisible to the naked eye. And the former model Katie Price has been banned from driving for a 7th time after failing to respond to police letters about a speeding ticket. Court papers show a Ford Capri registered in her name was clocked doing 80 miles per hour in the 70 zone in North Yorkshire last October. The ban is due to last for 6 months.
McIlroy for the Grand Slam. Sends it forward. He's done it!
When the puck dropped, it wasn't necessarily the relief of winning the Masters finally, it was the relief of getting through that day.
And he sinks to his knees.
Oh my God, I've done this thing that I've always wanted to do. And then the joy came and the tears and everything else after that.
At very, very long last, Rory McIlroy is the master.
The Masters 2026, live from Augusta. Coverage starts tomorrow night from 8 on Sports Extra and BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sports, the Champions League with Steve Crossman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Liverpool have been beaten 2-0 at Paris Saint-Germain in the first leg of their Champions League quarter-final. The night's other tie finished Barcelona 0, Atletico Madrid 2. Atleti's first win at the Camp Nou in 20 years. More reaction on the way to that. Our major focus, though, is the Parc des Princes. We've got Charlie Adam with us in studio in Paris, Ian Dennis, Paul Robinson and Julien Laurent. Ian, this was 2-0 going on 4, 5 more?
Well, they got away lightly, Steve. I mean, Paris Saint-Germain's dominance should have produced a greater margin of victory. Doué's deflected shot gave the defending